citadels of American medicine. A clump of gray-white buildings planted deep in the heart of New York, the nerve center of medical progress, where great minds and skilled hands wage man's everlasting battle against death and disease. Blair General Hospital, where life begins, where life ends, where life goes on. Come in. Oh, good evening, Mrs. Murphy.
Good evening to you, Dr. Kildare. I hate to ask it of you, and I hope you'll forgive me, but would you mind very much if I cleaned up in here now?
Oh, no, it's all right, Mrs. Murphy. Go right ahead. Aren't you here a little early, though? I thought you started work around midnight.
Well, usually I do, but I have to go to court tomorrow morning.
Ah, now what have you been doing?
Oh, it isn't me, sir. It's my grandson, Terry.
Oh, well.
He's 14, Dr. Kildare, and I've tried so hard to raise him upright for 10 years now, ever since my son and his wife, Terry's parents, were killed in an auto wreck.
Well, what's happened, Mrs. Murphy? What's Terry done?
He stole a revolver from a sporting goods store.
Revolver?
I don't know why he did it. And now they're holding his trial in juvenile court at 10 o'clock in the morning. I'm sorry, sir.
Oh, there now. Things always look worse before they happen.
But I'm all alone, and I don't know what to do.
Look, Mrs. Murphy, suppose I go to court with you in the morning. Would that help any?
Oh, Dr. Kildare, if you only would.
Well, then it's settled. Now, you go on home and leave the rest of this cleaning for tonight. I'll meet you in juvenile court in the morning.
All right, sir, and thank you.
Good morning, Dr. Gillespie.
Kildare, when are you ever going to learn to stop shouldering the responsibilities for other people's troubles?
So your stooges have started work already this morning, huh? What if you mean Mrs. Murphy? I haven't shouldered any responsibility. I merely offered to help. She hasn't anyone else to turn to. Somebody has to help her.
And somebody will. But it doesn't require getting emotionally involved in a problem that's of no concern to a doctor.
Well, now, this is quite interesting, coming from a man who spent most of his life doing just that.
Why, I will confine myself entirely to the diagnosis and treatment of disease. Except in a few rare cases, of course.
Shall I mention 2 or 3 dozen of those rare cases?
That's beside the point. And anyway, this is different.
No.
If it were medical help, yes. Yeah, but this isn't.
Apparently not. Well, I'm still going to see whether there's anything I can do to help. There may not be, of course,
Pardon
but...
me, gentlemen, but Dr. Carew is here to see you.
No? Well, send him in, Parker.
Yes, Dr. Gillespie.
What in thunderation does he want?
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning, Dr. Carew.
Dr. Kildare, I have just been informed that you're planning to interfere in this trial of Mrs. Murphy's grandson this morning.
Well, I don't know about interfering, Dr. Carew, but I am going to see if there's any way I can help the boy.
Well, I really must ask you not to. It's for the best interests of the hospital, you understand?
Why?
I hardly see the necessity for you wasting several valuable hours on this matter when there are, after all, competent authorities appointed to deal with such situations.
Now, wait a minute.
Carew, I am shocked and amazed at your attitude.
Now, Dr. Gillespie, I don't believe that
Mrs. Murphy has worked here for a good many years now. She needs help, and it's up to us to give it to her.
If it were medical help, yes, but...
Medical, financial, spiritual, any kind of help. It's a matter of loyalty. Kildare is absolutely right.
Well, thank you, Doctor.
Oh. Now, I don't believe I agree with you.
Parker?
No, I simply don't agree with you, and that's all there is to it.
Yes, Dr. Gillespie.
Parker, get my hat and coat.
All right, Doctor.
Let's assume the matter is settled then, and we won't discuss it any further.
Jimmy, what time is the case called?
10 o'clock.
And now, gentlemen, I have another little business matter I'd like to discuss with you.
Carew, you better postpone your discussion till this afternoon.
What?
Kildare and I have to be over at juvenile court in 15 minutes.
Oh, dear.
I order the court recessed for 10 minutes. Participants and witnesses in the case will please remain in their seats. Gentlemen, if you'd care to step into my chambers there, we'll go over the case as it stands now.
Thanks, Judge Byron. Dr. Gillespie, after you.
Thank you, Jimmy. Thank you.
Take those chairs by the window. They're more comfortable.
Oh, thanks.
Well, I'm very interested in hearing your opinions.
Well, you better talk to Kildare, Byron. I'm merely a late arrival at this party.
Well, Doctor?
I may be wrong about it, Judge Byron, but I think there's more to this than just a matter of stealing for profit.
Oh, what do you mean, Dr. Kildare?
Well, according to the testimony, Terry wasn't in any need of spending money. In fact, he'd started a savings account from the earnings on his paper route.
That's true enough.
And here's something else that ties in with it. Until about a year ago, Terry seemed completely normal. Above average in his schoolwork, pleasant, cooperative, and well-liked by his classmates. But both his teachers and his grandmother say he's changed a lot during the past year. He's grown sullen and defiant, been inattentive in his classes, and made failing grades. It seemed almost stupid at times.
Yes, I think I see your point, Dr. Kildare. You're suggesting a psychological cause for the theft.
That's right. A growing feeling of insecurity and consequently a need to reaffirm self-importance. The theft of the gun was a means of displaying his bravery, you might say, to his friends.
Well, if you're right, this insecurity apparently started around a year ago. Do you have any ideas how it started?
No, but I'd like to try to find out, if you could let me work with the boy.
I'd be grateful if you would. Of course, it would be necessary for you to assume joint custody together with his grandmother.
Oh, I'd be glad to.
Kildare.
I suppose it's really up to Mrs. Murphy, though.
Oh, I don't think there'll be any difficulty about it. Suppose we find out. Pardon me, gentlemen.
Well, Jimmy, so you weren't planning to shoulder any responsibility?
With nothing else to do, Dr. Gillespie. You saw that boy while Judge Byron was questioning him. Scared, unsure of himself. He was like a trapped animal.
Oh, yeah, there was something bothering him, all right. I'd agree with you on that.
And it's up to somebody to find out what that is before it's too late.
Well, Dr. Kildare, Mrs. Murphy not only agrees, but she's most thankful for your interest in the boy. You haven't changed your mind.
I haven't even thought of changing it.
Good. I'll have to reconvene the court and announce disposition of the case officially. Be with you in a few minutes.
Well, congratulations on your 14-year-old son, Papa.
My dear doctor, if you're fishing for a cigar, you may as well relax.
You know, there's one blind spot in this psychological theory of yours, Jimmy.
Oh? What?
Well, it could be that Terry stole that revolver because he needed it for some purpose of his own. Some purpose that may require a gun.
Mm-hmm. I know. I thought of that. It's one of the first things we've got to find out.
Here you are, Dr. Kildare. I finally got done filling out all those old questions. Some of them sure sounded awful crazy.
Those questions were invented by a scientist for the purpose of helping us measure intelligence.
Huh. I guess you won't find much of that in my head.
What makes you think so?
Well, didn't you hear all them teachers there in court saying what a dummy I am?
Well, a teacher can be wrong, though. Sometimes a fella just isn't trying, or he's worried about something.
Oh, all the kids pick on me and say I'm a dope, and everybody laughs. Then I get sore, and I wouldn't have stole that gun if they hadn't always been making fun of me. I figured maybe it'd shut them up if I'd done something like that they was all scared to do.
Yes, I can understand how you felt, all right, but you did take the wrong way out, you know.
Yeah, I knew it the minute after I'd done it. Only I didn't stop to think.
Terry, how did you happen to pick a gun?
Well, no reason, I guess. It just happened to be the first thing I saw when the owner went to the back of the store.
I see. How do you get along with your grandmother? Like her all right?
Well, sure, she's okay. Only she's always after me lately, because I don't do better in school and stuff like that. All the teachers, too, Dr. Kildare. They say I don't pay attention.
And do you pay attention?
Well, sure I do, just as much as anybody. I can't help it if I don't always know what they mean. They don't have to keep saying I'm stupid. It's not my fault if I am.
You're right, Terry. It isn't your fault. And I don't think you're stupid. I think there's some other reason for this, and I'm going to find out what it is. Well, we won't worry any more about it now. You go on, take care of your paper route. But come right in after school tomorrow afternoon. Will you do that?
I sure will.
Oh, and on the way out, will you ask Miss Parker to come in here when she has a moment?
Okay. Gee whiz, Dr. Kildare. If the rest of them had only treated me like you do, all this wouldn't even have happened.
Thanks, Terry. That's quite a compliment.
Confound it, Parker. Settle down here and try to talk sense.
I am talking sense, Dr. Gillespie. That boy took it as sure as I'm standing here. I'm positive it couldn't have been anyone else.
All right. But settle down.
But he stole it, I tell you, and I...
Who stole what, Parker?
That boy, Dr. Kildare, Terry Murphy. He stole a brand new scalpel off my desk when he left here this afternoon.
Parker, are you sure of that?
I'm positive of it. I was just unwrapping a new box of a dozen when he came out of your office. He wanted to know all about what they were for and how sharp they were and everything. And finally he asked me if he could have one, and I told him no.
Well, how do you know he took one?
He was still there when I came into your office, and I just now happened to count the scalpels, and one of them's gone.
No one else has been in here for the last hour and a half, Jimmy. I'm afraid the boy must have taken it all right.
Yes, I guess he did. Parker, look up Mrs. Murphy's home address in the file, will you?
All right, Dr. Kildare, but I know just as sure as I'm standing here that boy...
All right, Parker.
Well...
Will you go with me, Dr. Gillespie?
Yes, of course, Jimmy.
First a gun and now a scalpel. I don't know what this is all about, but I think we'd better get over there right away.
We return to the story of Dr. Kildare in just a moment. Now we continue with the story of Dr. Kildare, starring Lou Ayres as Dr. Kildare and Lionel Barrymore as Dr. Gillespie.
Here it is, Dr. Gillespie, number 422.
Yeah. Well, ring the bell, Jimmy. Confounded kid. Why couldn't he have used his head?
I don't know. He seems determined to cross himself up.
Good evening. Why, it's Dr. Kildare and Dr. Gillespie.
Good evening, Mrs. Murphy. May we come in?
Of course, come right in, gentlemen. This is quite a surprise.
We wanted to see Terry for a couple of minutes if we could. Is he here?
Oh, yes, he's in his room there at the end of the hall. Is anything wrong, Dr. Kildare?
Just a misunderstanding at the hospital.
Oh.
Will it be all right if we go on down to his room?
Well, I can call him.
No need of it at all, Mrs. Murphy. Suppose you and I just wait here.
Come in.
Oh, hello, Terry.
Why, Dr. Kildare. Gee whiz, I wasn't expecting you this evening.
I wanted to check up on something, Terry.
Yeah? Well, what do you mean?
Do you happen to remember some little knives on Miss Parker's desk at the hospital this afternoon?
Oh, sure, them scalpels. Hey, she gave me one of them, Dr. Kildare.
She gave you one?
Yeah, boy, it's really sharp. I was cutting some pieces of wood with it a while ago.
You didn't lose it, did you?
No, it's in my sweater pocket hanging there on the chair. Is that what you wanted to check up on?
Yes. You see, Miss Parker sort of, made a mistake. These scalpels aren't supposed to leave the hospital.
Well, gosh, I just asked her if I could have one, and she gave it to me. I didn't know.
No, of course not. I guess I'd better take it back, though. Anyway, these things aren't too good for whittling. We'll see if we can't find a carving set when you come over tomorrow afternoon.
Oh, swell. We can have some more tests and stuff like that?
Yes, I imagine we'll have to try a few more yet. Terry, you are sure that Miss Parker gave this to you?
Oh, yeah. You don't think that... Gee whiz, Dr. Kildare, I wouldn't steal nothing from you.
I don't care what the boy says, Dr. Kildare. I most certainly did not give him that scalpel.
Well, I could hardly imagine you doing it, Parker, but anyway, that's Terry's story.
It's a plain downright lie, nothing else.
I guess it is. Odd, though. because he didn't make the least attempt to cover up the fact he'd taken it.
Well, Parker may have given it to him and then forgotten about it. She's just that scatterbrained.
Well, I like that.
Or she may have miscounted. A dozen is a pretty high number for such a limited mentality.
After all, Dr. Gillespie, I don't have to stand here and be insulted like this.
Parker, you have anticipated my next sentence.
Well, if you wanted me to leave, you could have asked me to.
I am asking you to. Now, get out.
Oh, horrible man.
Well, I don't know, Dr. Gillespie. It leaves me completely up in the air. Parker didn't give him the scalpel, of course, and yet he did take it. At the same time, he's quite open and frank about the whole thing. Doesn't hang together.
No sign of any emotional disturbance as far as you've discovered?
No, except for his resentment at everyone picking on him, as he calls it.
Persecution, maybe.
No, it's justified, all right. He isn't imagining it. Only, what caused it?
Well, you can find some amazing things hidden down deep in human psychology.
And sometimes you can't find them. Or you can't handle them when you do. Well, we keep trying. That's all we can do. All right, Terry. Only a few more left now. Here we go. Dog.
Cat.
Man.
Big.
School.
Hate.
Weapon.
Revolver.
Sister.
Let's see.
No, don't stop to think. The first word that comes into your head, we'll skip that one. Now, here's the last word. Hospital.
Doctor.
Good. Well, that's all for today.
Hey, do you think I did all right, Dr. Kildare?
Well, that isn't quite the idea, Terry. You see, we use a word association test to find out something about the way a person's mind works.
Yeah? What'd you find out about mine? Is it working okay?
Oh, sure. It's clicking right along on all 8. Oh, come in, Dr. Gillespie.
Well, Kildare, how's your patient coming along?
Oh, fine. He hasn't yelled once.
Oh, it don't hurt none just to answer questions.
Then we'll do some more of it tomorrow, Terry.
Okay. I guess I better get going on my paper route.
Oh, by the way, Terry, we were having a little argument that maybe you could help us settle. Do you remember exactly what was said when Miss Parker gave you the scalpel yesterday?
Well, let's see. I was saying how I'd sure like to have one of them, and she said, I bet you would. And then I asked her, could I maybe? And she said, well, of course you can. And then she started to come in here, and I said thanks and picked one out and took it. Is that what you mean?
Yes, I think that answers it all right. Oh, we'll see you tomorrow, then.
Okay, Dr. Kildare. So long.
Goodbye, Terry.
That's quite an imagination, Jimmy, if he made up that whole conversation. Well, we can find out. Parker?
Someone calling me.
Yes. Come in here a second, Parker. Do you remember just what was said yesterday when young Terry Murphy asked you for that scalpel?
I most certainly do, Dr. Gillespie. He asked me if he could have one, and I said, well, of course you can't. And then I came in here.
Do you remember him saying thank you or something like that?
Why, yes, now that you mention it. I certainly don't know what he was thanking me for.
Darnation, Jimmy. It was nothing but a misunderstanding. The boy thought she said, of course you can, so he thanked her and took it.
I think you're right, Dr. Gillespie. Only it still doesn't explain what's wrong with Terry, unless... Possibly... Wait a minute.
Huh?
Now, why didn't I think of it? I'm the only stupid one around here.
Jimmy, what are you talking about?
Psychology. I'll give you 10 to 1. This is a straight medical case. Here, Parker, let me have that phone.
By thunderation. It could be all right.
Sally, this is Kildare. Have you seen a red-headed boy about 14 years old go out through the lobby in the last couple of minutes? Well, watch for him, will you, and send him right back up here?
Gee whiz, Dr. Kildare. I don't know. I never noticed it, I guess. Or if I did, I never thought about it.
Oh, if it came on gradually, Terry, as it usually does, you probably wouldn't have noticed it.
Maybe that's how come they all laugh when I start to answer some questions in class. And then the teacher always says it's because I wasn't paying attention.
Mm-hmm. And as I told you, teachers can be wrong. Doctors, too, for that matter. Suppose we make sure of it now, Terry.
Okay, sure.
I brought one of the standard watches in, Kildare. Here you are.
Oh, thank you. Now, Terry, as you can see, this is just an ordinary pocket watch. I'm going to hold it up close to your ear, and I want you to tell me whether you can hear it running.
All right. Yeah, I can hear it all right.
Now, I'm going to move away slowly, and you stop me as soon as you can't hear it any longer.
Okay.
All right.
There. I can't hear it any more there, Dr. Kildare.
About a third the normal distance.
All right, Terry. Now, Terry, you can stop worrying. You're not stupid. There's nothing wrong with you that can't be cured by the end of the week. You have a partial deafness, that's all.
Gosh. You mean I could get myself all loused up just from not hearing so good?
Exactly. You couldn't hear questions correctly in school, so you gave ridiculous answers. And when everyone kept laughing at you, it made you more and more awkward, and things went from bad to worse.
Yeah, but maybe you can't cure it, Dr. Kildare.
Oh, yes, we can cure it all right, now that we know what's wrong. It's just a matter of removing a polyp or congestion from the canals. Well, we'll know better after a complete examination.
Can you be here at 9 in the morning, Terry? I'll give you a note to your teacher.
You bet I can. Gosh, and then people will stop picking on me. I got to get home and tell Grandma about this, if it's okay for me to leave.
Sure, Terry. See you in the morning.
Yeah. So long.
Well, Jimmy, that boy has a lot better life ahead of him than he did 2 days ago.
Yes, it should be a simple operation, too. Isn't it funny? Just a few strokes of a knife making the difference between a normal, intelligent kid and a dull-witted laughing stock, even a criminal.
Yep. Medical miracles, if you want to call them that. They've kept me fascinated by this profession for a good many years now. Purely an academic interest, of course.
Oh, I see. Purely academic. Nothing emotional about it.
Merely as a matter of scientific curiosity, Jimmy. Nothing more.
Excuse me, Dr. Gillespie, but the sporting goods store just sent over that catcher's mitt you ordered.
Well, Doctor, are you taking up baseball?
Well,
scientific curiosity, I suppose.
Father.
You know, when you come right down to it, you're nothing but a sentimental old fraud.
In just a moment, we will return to the story of Dr. Kildare. Once again, the story of Dr. Kildare, starring Lou Ayres as Dr. Kildare and Lionel Barrymore as Dr. Gillespie.
Well, 12 more reports to go, Jimmy. Want to finish up tonight? Or leave the rest of them for tomorrow morning?
Oh, let's go through them. Get it over with.
All right. Let's see now. Come in.
Good evening, Mrs. Murphy.
Gentlemen, I didn't know anybody was working this late.
Well, we'll be through in about 20 minutes. Now, if you don't mind waiting that long.
Oh, no, I'll just clean up some of the other offices first. I haven't really had a chance to thank both of you for what you did for my grandson.
Oh, thank Kildare, Mrs. Murphy. I didn't have anything to do with it.
How's Terry getting along now?
Oh, just perfect, Dr. Kildare. His grades are all good, and he's just like what he used to be.
Fine, then that's all the thanks anybody needs. Have him drop in and see us some afternoon.
Oh, I will. He'd love to. Well, I'll come back later, gentlemen. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night. Well, I'm glad the boy came out of it all right, Jimmy. Bright little fellow, and likable, too.
Yes, quite a kid.
Yeah, man misses a lot by not having a family. Once, years ago, if things had worked out different, well...
Yes, I know, Dr. Gillespie.
If medical science had only been able to do then what it can now. She was as lovely as a field of jonquils in the springtime. 39 years ago. Confounded Kildare, let's get on with these reports. Don't you think a man my age needs any sleep?
You have just heard the story of Dr. Kildare, starring Lou Ayres and Lionel Barrymore. This program was written by Les Crutchfield and directed by William P. Russo. Original music was composed and conducted by Walter Schumann. Supporting cast included Virginia Gregg, Jerry Farber, Peggy Weber, Ted Osborne, and Norman Field. Dick Joy speaking.
You're listening to HOJO Radio. Stay tuned.
The story of Dr. Kildare.
Whatsoever house I enter, there will I go for the benefit of the sick. Whatsoever things I see or hear concerning the life of men, I will keep silence thereon, counting such things to be held as sacred trusts. I will exercise my art solely.
The story of Dr. Kildare, starring Lou Ayres and Lionel Barrymore. Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer brought you those famous motion pictures. Now this exciting, heartwarming series is heard on radio. In just a moment, the story of Dr. Kildare. But first, your announcer. Now, the story of Dr. Kildare, starring Lou Ayres as Dr. Kildare and Lionel Barrymore as Dr. Gillespie.
Blair General Hospital, one of the great citadels of American medicine. A clump of gray-white buildings planted deep in the heart of New York, the nerve center of medical progress, where great minds and skilled hands wage man's everlasting battle against death and disease. Blair General Hospital, where life begins, where life ends, where life goes on. What's happened? What's wrong?
Nothing's happened. Why are you all out of breath?
Well, Parker said it was important, some emergency.
Kildare, lock the door.
Huh?
I said lock the door. I don't want to be disturbed.
Oh, sure, all right.
Are you busy, Kildare?
No, not a bit right now.
Good. I thought we might indulge in a game of checkers.
What? Do you mean you went through all this mystery just to...
Quiet, Kildare, quiet. The walls have ears. I'll set up the board.
All right, let's live dangerously.
Yes. It's confoundedly quiet round here, isn't it? So quiet that, well, this afternoon it's getting on my nerves.
That's only your diagnosis of what's getting on your nerves.
What do you think's getting on my nerves?
The 75 cents you owe me for the last 3 times we've played.
Do you mean to infer I'm a poor loser, Kildare?
Shh, the walls have ears.
Now, you listen to me.
Go ahead, move your man.
For me concentrate, I will. I'm in conference. I can't be disturbed.
Well, all right, Dr. Gillespie. Dr. Carew's on his way down with some people, and I thought you might like to put away that checkerboard before they got here.
Splats.
Zounds, mate, we've been discovered.
I'll put the board away in the bottom drawer here.
I'll unlock the door. Now, how did you know we were playing checkers, Parker?
Why else would you lock the door?
Right in here, Mr. and Mrs. Van Court. Our doctors are very busy, but I'm sure they'll be very glad to spare you a moment. Mrs. Van Court, may I present Dr. Gillespie?
How do you do, Dr. Gillespie?
How do you do?
And Dr. Kildare.
Dr. Kildare.
Very happy to meet you, Mrs. Van Court.
And Mr. Van Court, Dr. Gillespie and Dr. Kildare.
How do you do, Doctor?
I suppose you and Dr. Kildare are struggling with some knotty problem, Dr. Gillespie?
We are indeed, Dr. Carew.
That's our staff, always busy.
Just what is your problem, Mr. Van Court?
It's our son.
Huh?
He's disappeared. He's been gone for 2 days and 2 nights.
There, Mrs. Van Court. Never you mind. Dr. Gillespie and Dr. Kildare will find him for you.
We'll find him?
But, Dr. Carew, we're not detectives.
Nonsense. Of course you are. You're excellent detectives, both of you. Why, look how you found that boy in the Leona Carter case. And
But this is a matter for the police, Dr.
Oh,
Carew.
no, not the police. I couldn't bear for the police to subject poor Philip to all that publicity. Oh, you promised us you could do something, Dr. Carew.
And so I will. You just put your complete faith in Dr. Gillespie and Dr. Kildare.
You see, Philip had all that publicity when he came back from the war, and it upset him so.
We're convinced that it's some sort of mental illness that has caused our son to go off like this. That's why we came to Dr. Carew.
Oh. You don't suppose he's eloped, do you?
Oh, Philip wouldn't do a thing like that without talking to his father and mother first.
Well, whether he would or not, who would he elope with? The only girl that he's gone out with has been Irene, and I'm sure that he isn't interested in her in that way.
Why are you sure?
Irene was engaged to Phil's best friend, and the boy was
killed in the war.
Oh.
Oh, no. No, Phil's had no particular interest in girls. The only thing I have known him to show any interest in is airplanes.
Planes? What did Philip do in the war?
He piloted a T-51.
Oh, yes. Was he wounded?
No, but he had a pretty bad case of war nerves for a while when he first got back.
Mrs. Van Court, when did your son leave the house?
2 nights ago, he said he had a date.
Did he say with whom?
No, he didn't.
Oh. Well, I don't know if we can help you, but we'll certainly be happy to try. Would you write down the name and the phone number of the girl you spoke of?
Oh, yes, of course.
Oh, by the way, have you a picture of your son?
Yes, I have one in my wallet.
May I borrow it? I'll take good care of it.
Of course.
Now, don't you worry about this another moment. Just leave everything in the hands of Dr. Gillespie and Dr. Kildare.
Here's her name and address.
Well, thank you both for your courtesy. I'm sure you know that anything you can do will be deeply appreciated by both of us. And if you are able to help my son, I'll certainly show this hospital my appreciation in a very tangible form, Dr. Carew.
Well, there. Not another word about that right now. Come, I'll walk to the door.
Now, what do we do?
Well, I guess we go and see, let me see that piece of paper. Oh, Irene Howard. Miss Howard, I'm sorry to have to bother you, but Mr. and Mrs. Van Court asked us if we wouldn't...
Oh, I'd be glad to do anything I can to help Philip.
Have you any idea where he might be?
Well, I don't know any more about it than his parents do.
You two didn't have a falling out about anything, did you?
Good heavens, no. It would hardly matter to Philip if we had. We've been friends a good many years, but never anything else. As a matter of fact, I was engaged to marry Phil's best friend.
Yes, we know that.
I think that's the only reason Phil pays any attention to me at all. He and Paul had been pals since they were kids. Even the war didn't separate them. They were both in the same air squadron. Phil even saw Paul shot down. His plane was just in front of Phil's when it happened. Maybe he went out to the airport. He hangs around there a lot. Oh, excuse me. Hello? Oh, yes. Hello, Mrs. Van Court. Oh, yes, they're here now. They what? Really? But where? Oh. Oh, I'm sure it's nothing like that. I'm sure he's all right. Yes, I'll tell them. I'll call you back later. Goodbye. They found Phil's car at Brighton Beach.
Really?
Was it empty?
Yes, his overcoat was in it and his wallet, his money, his identification. The police just called her.
Well, it's in the hands of the police, then.
They think it's suicide.
I'll go down and have a talk with the police captain.
No, I think we should take a ride out to Brighton Beach.
Oh, all right. You go your way and I'll go mine. I'll see you back at the hospital.
Well, Dr. Kildare, what brings you out to Brighton Beach this time of night?
Well, Mike, I'm just looking for a young man, a patient of mine. I just came out here on a hunch. Hasn't turned out to be a very good one.
What's he look like?
Believe it or not, I don't know. Never met him. His parents asked me to help him. The boy's evidently suffering from war nerves or something. I have a picture of him here.
Let me flash my light on it. Well, now, I just may be able to help you. I'm not sure, but there was a young fellow sitting on one of the benches looking at the ocean. He looked a bit like that. Come on, let's have a look.
Good.
Yes, he's still there. Let's have a closer look, shall we?
Yeah. A little too dark to tell from here. I don't know. I better speak to him. Hey, excuse me. Is your name Philip Van Court by any chance?
What? What did you say?
He sure looks like that picture.
I said, is your name Philip Van Court?
No.
What is your name?
My name? Why, my name is, wait a minute, I'll think of it in just a minute. It's... Isn't that funny? I don't know. I don't know what my name is.
Look, I'm Dr. Kildare. I'm with Blair General Hospital in New York City. Now, if you're who I think you are, your parents are half crazy looking for you.
I haven't got any parents. They're dead.
Oh? What was their name?
I don't know.
What's that newspaper in your pocket?
I don't know.
May I see it?
Sure.
Phil, will you come back to the hospital and let me try to help you? Will you, please?
Sure, I'll go with you. Why not? I haven't any place else to go. Sure.
Come in.
Well, how'd you make out with the police?
Oh, well, I found out everything they know, which is darn little. They picked up his car with the overcoat in it and no trace of the boy.
Sometimes you can find out more from the cop on the beat than the police captain.
Like what?
Like what bench the boy you're looking for is sitting on.
Oh, yeah. Have you found him?
I'm not sure. Would you call Mr. and Mrs. Van Court and ask them to come down? I don't want to phone in front of the boy. And then if you'll come down to my office, you can talk to him yourself.
Well, does the boy you found say he's Philip Van Court?
He doesn't know who he is, doesn't know how he got to Brighton Beach or what he was doing there. Oh, here. Read the headline on this paper that was in his pocket.
Plane crashed airport. Well, this doesn't mean you found Philip Van Court.
No, well, maybe not. But I do know I found myself a patient. Phil, this picture looks like you, doesn't it?
Yes, it certainly does.
Would you look and see if you have any identification of any sort in your pockets?
I did. I haven't.
Why are you holding your arm like that?
It's crippled. I can't lift it.
Oh, wonder how that happened.
It happened during the war.
How do you know?
Why, I just know. Oh, my arm hurts.
Here, let me have a look at it.
Don't touch it. It hurts. I don't want you to touch it.
All right, I won't touch it.
I can't lift it. I'll never be able to lift it.
Yes.
Mr. and Mrs. Van Court here in the hall, Jimmy. All right?
Oh, Phil, this is Dr. Gillespie.
How do you do, sir?
How do, son?
Phil, the people are here that I told you about. Will you let me bring them in? Their son's been missing for over 2 days now.
Of course.
All right, Dr. Gillespie.
Come in, Mr. and Mrs. Van Court.
Oh, Phil. My son,
Where have you been, my boy? We've been frantic.
Oh, don't ever give us a scare like that again.
What is it, Phil?
I don't know these people.
Phil.
I'm not Phil. Don't you understand? I'm not your son.
Oh, Phil, don't frighten Mother like that. Don't.
Please, Mrs. Van Court. Phil, I'll tell you what I think our next move is. I believe I'll put you to bed and let you get a good night's rest. We've had a long day, and in the morning we'll talk things over.
Jimmy, why don't I take Phil down, get him fixed up with a room while you talk to Mr. and Mrs. Van Court?
All right. Good night, Phil. See you in the morning.
Sure. Thank you, Dr. Kildare. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
That's our son, Dr. Kildare.
Yes.
He has amnesia. Is that it, Doctor?
Yes, that's it.
What are we going to do?
Apply psychotherapy.
You can cure him, can't you?
We stand a pretty good chance if we can find out what brought on the attack of amnesia. I think I know. I may be wrong, but I think I know.
We will return to the story of Dr. Kildare in just a moment. continue with the story of Dr. Kildare, starring Lou Ayres as Dr. Kildare and Lionel Barrymore as Dr. Gillespie.
How'd you like the movie?
Well, it was all right. Why you insisted on dragging me to a movie at this time of night?
Just thought a little relaxation wouldn't hurt. What do you think caused it?
Caused what?
Amnesia. Do you think that news headline had anything to do with it?
Yes. Air crash might have done that. Might have brought back too vividly something you're trying to escape.
Mm-hmm. Complete emotional hysteria.
Yeah. If this is true, have you decided how you want to treat the boy?
Well, your favorite method has always been narcosynthesis in cases like this.
That's exactly what I'd advise.
Better have the boy's parents in tomorrow and talk to them about it. I'll call them first thing in the morning.
Dr. Kildare, Dr. Gillespie, we brought Irene with us because she almost seems like one of the family to us, and she's been so distressed about Phil.
Irene, would you permit an old man to ask you a most personal question?
Of course.
Are you in love with Phil?
Yes. I have been for a long time.
Huh?
I was just a little late realizing it. You see, I'd written to Paul and broken my engagement to him about 2 weeks before he was killed.
Oh, does Phil know that?
I don't know. He's never mentioned it.
I see. Well, Mr. and Mrs. Van Court, I wanted to explain our method of treatment in cases like this. You see, along with the attack of amnesia, Phil has a partial paralysis of his arm. Now, there's absolutely nothing organically wrong with the arm. So Dr. Gillespie and I believe the amnesia and the paralysis are related. We'd like to use what we call the narcosynthesis method.
That's been used quite a lot since the war, hasn't it?
Yes, it has.
What is it?
It's a little technical, but I'll try to simplify it. We dull the pain sense of the ego so that repressed things may come to the patient's mind and be confessed. Once they've been expressed, then they no longer constitute a threat to the ego, and the energy which they formerly used up can be transferred to more useful functions.
How will you go about this with Phil?
Well, first we'll darken his room, and then I'll talk to him for a while and explain to him just how we're going to try to help him. And when he's sufficiently relaxed and ready, we'll inject sodium pentothal into a vein. Then I'll ask him to count backwards from 100, and when he becomes confused and is unable to count correctly, we'll be ready to begin the treatment.
89, 88, 87, 85, no. 83, 83.
Philip, you can still hear me, can't you?
Oh, yes, Dr. Kildare.
Tell me about Paul, Phil.
Paul was my friend. We were buddies. But Paul fell in love with Irene.
Were you in love with Irene, too?
Yes. But she was in love with Paul. She was engaged to him. I meant nothing to her. She didn't know how I felt. And Paul didn't know. I didn't let anyone know. But he kept talking about her, though. All the time overseas, he kept talking.
What happened overseas, Phil?
It was a raid. The raid! Paul's plane was in front of me. It was just in front of me and a little below me. I saw the Nazi plane die for him. I could have shot him. I could have saved Paul's life, but I couldn't move my arm. It was paralyzed. I couldn't move it.
Nazi plane shot Paul down?
Yes, the Nazi plane shot him down. I got the Nazi, but it was too late to save Paul. And as I watched his plane fall, I found myself thinking, I can marry Irene now. But I couldn't marry her. I never can marry her. How could I marry her when Paul is dead? Because of me. He's dead, and I killed him. I killed him. I killed him.
All right now, all right. You were out to the airport the other night, weren't you? You saw a man get into a plane, take off and crash. Now think, Phil. Think.
Yes. Yes, I was at the airport. All of a sudden, my arm, I couldn't move my arm again.
I know. Now, Phil, listen to me. Listen very closely. Do you hear me?
Yes. Yes, I hear you.
All right. Irene loves you. She wasn't in love with Paul. She's in love with you. She wrote a letter to Paul breaking her engagement 2 weeks before he died. She's in love with you.
Love? With me?
Yes, with you. Now listen, Phil. Concentrate on what I'm saying. It isn't your fault that Paul died. Your arm didn't freeze on the gun because you wanted Paul to die. It was caused by the fear and terror. You didn't kill Paul. Paul died at the hands of the enemy. You wanted to save him, but it was beyond your power. You were willing to save him. You tried to save him.
Tried to save him?
Yes, you tried to save him. Phil, your arm is perfectly all right. It isn't paralyzed. Now, I want you to lift it. That's right. Lift it. There, you see? Now, extend it toward me. Now, that's right. Now, over your head. There. You see, your arm is all right, Phil. And so are you. You're all right.
I'm all right.
I'm going to leave you now. I want you to rest and sleep. And when you awaken, you're going to know who you are, and you're going to be well. You're going to be well, Phil, in mind and in body. And then you're going to get up and ask Irene to marry you.
Ask Irene?
Yes. Irene is going to marry you, Phil. She's going to marry you. Well, Phil, goodbye and lots of luck to you and Irene.
Thank you, Dr. Kildare. I still can't believe that she actually said yes.
You ought to believe it. My goodness, I practically proposed to you.
We run a matrimonial bureau here as well as the hospital, too.
Well, isn't it nice to see everyone so happy?
Hello, Dr. Carew. Bill is leaving the hospital today.
I know. Well, I told you just to leave everything to Dr. Gillespie and Dr. Kildare.
Will I have any recurrence of the amnesia?
No, Phil, no. The cause for the amnesia has been removed. You have nothing further to worry about.
Well, I know one thing. I certainly feel like a new man.
Dr. Carew, I have a check here made out to the hospital. I wanted to make a donation to show our great appreciation.
Well, now, that isn't at all necessary, but how very nice and thoughtful of you. On behalf of Blair General Hospital, I thank you. Of course, you shouldn't have done it, but I know the thought of the countless people who will benefit from your generosity will give you boundless pleasure.
It will indeed. Goodbye, Doctor, and thank you again.
Oh, goodbye. Lots of luck to you.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Thank you so much.
Well, that's that. Have you any emergency cases this afternoon?
No.
Well, lock the door.
Uh-oh. All right, I'm with you, mate.
Where were we on this check again?
Don't spill the checkers. It was your move.
That's all right. That's right. So it was. You're right. Now, Kildare, keep your wits about you because I am going to assassinate you right here and now.
Oh, just because you owe me 75 cents? Just don't know how to lose, do you?
Never mind that. Never mind. It doesn't matter if you don't know how to lose, Kildare. Always remember as you go through life, the only thing that really matters is knowing how to win.
We return to the story of Dr. Kildare in just a moment.
once again the story of Dr. Kildare, starring Lou Ayres as Dr. Kildare and Lionel Barrymore as Dr. Gillespie.
Well, I must say I am pleased. Very pleased indeed. Mr. Vencourt made a very generous donation. You're fine doctors, both of you. I'm proud of you.
Oh, thank you, Dr. Carew. Can I have an extra dish of ice cream for my lunch?
What? Oh, quiet. Oh, I get it. Well, you certainly can, dear fellow. You too, Kildare.
Oh, thank you.
Well, I must get back to my office. I have so much to do these days. I just wanted you to know that I'm well pleased. Well pleased. Another dish of ice cream.
There's a man with a great sense of humor.
Yeah. Maybe we should put him under sodium pentothal and find out his hidden desires and motivation.
I wouldn't recommend it, Dr. Gillespie. All you'd find would be a great big dollar sign.
Quite so, Dr. Kildare.
Yes, I thought your diagnosis would concur with mine. Well, now shall we lock the door and return to our game, Dr. Gillespie?
By all means, Dr. Kildare, by all means.
You have just heard the story of Dr. Kildare, starring Lou Ayres and Lionel Barrymore. This program was written by Gene Holloway and directed by William P. Russo. Original music was composed and conducted by Walter Schumann. Supporting cast included Virginia Gregg, Ted Osborne, Sam Edwards, Ted Von Elst, Gene Bates, Sarah Selby, and Dick Simmons. Dick Joy speaking.
Our next broadcast was one of the most popular radio shows in history. The show went on the air in August of 1930. The opening lines of this detective story program captivated listeners and are instantly recognizable even today. Originally, the narrator of the story of macabre tales became so popular that the broadcast was soon renamed, and the narrator became the star of the old-time mystery radio series, which ran until 1954. A figure never seen, only heard, he possessed many gifts which enabled him to overcome any enemy. Besides his tremendous strength, he could defy gravity, speak any language, unravel any code, and become invisible with his famous ability to cloud men's minds. Who knows what evil lurks in the hearts of men? The Shadow knows, next on HOJO Radio.
The man of mystery who strikes terror in the very hearts of sharpsters, lawbreakers, and criminals. Today, the Temple Bells of Lebanon. Friends, if you want to be sure that the fuel you get to heat your home this winter is safe, healthy, and economical fuel, then by all means buy Blue Coal, the finest of Pennsylvania hard coal. Remember, this superior quality anthracite has been colored a harmless fluid to minds so that you can recognize it at a glance. So take the guesswork out of your fuel buying. Get America's finest anthracite. Ask for Blue Coal by name. Order a supply tomorrow.
The bells, Shadow. The bells of Lebanon. They will reveal you.
Your third mistake, Sabi, and your last.
No, it is your mistake and your last. This is the end of your career as the Shadow.
We'll make this a large evening, a couple of hours at the Club Caliph. Does that intrigue you?
Lovely, but not too late. I have an appointment at 10 in the morning at the Women's Club. They're trying to get some action on this terrible narcotic situation.
Yes, I read about that.
Stuff's being peddled all over town. They've found school children using it, society women. Why, it's already caused a half dozen suicides.
Yes, I know. It's terrible stuff.
Oh, it needs the Shadow to get at the bottom of it.
Yes, I know, dear, but for tonight I do enjoy just being myself. Lamont Cranston, dilettante. Let's be the Shadow, only in real emergencies. You know, they tell me there's a lovely Indian dancer at this new club, Keely's.
Indian dancer?
Mm-hmm. You know, there's the place just there. Upcade it, driver.
Yes, sir.
Lamont, you are going to do something about it. You've started already.
Perhaps. Well, here we are. All right, driver. There you are.
Thank you, sir.
Oh, that looked like young Jerry Gleason just going in.
Yes? I was that young man's father. I'd spank you and keep him home occasionally.
Well, son of a wealthy sire.
Yeah, let me have your coat. I'll check it with mine.
Good evening, Jerry.
Oh, hello, Miss Lane.
Your father and sister well? I haven't seen them lately.
Yes. I'm sorry, but I can't wait right now. I've got to see someone, and it's important. I'm sorry.
But Jerry.
Hello. What ails young Gleason?
I don't know. He seems awfully upset about something. He doesn't look well either. Pale and shaky.
You're right, he doesn't. Something curious about that boy. Well, let's go in.
May I show you to a table, sir?
Take this table by the dance floor, thank you.
Oh, there's someone getting up to speak. We seem to be just in time for the main attraction.
Apparently.
Ladies and gentlemen, we take pleasure in presenting the fascinating and beautiful dancer of the Far East, Sadi Bel Ada. For our first number tonight, she will give you the dance of the cobra. Sadi Bel Ada.
Look, isn't she lovely?
Yes. Real thing, too. Real Hindu. It's odd, you know.
Goodness. Look, she's taking a snake out of that wicker basket.
A live cobra.
Oh, heavens.
You know, the cobra is connected with the old Indian mysticism, the most ancient of magic. See how she quiets the snake, makes it sway to the motion of her hands. It's a form of mesmerism. We've never improved on that with all our modern psychology.
I hope its fangs have been removed.
Well, they undoubtedly have. Oh, this is the one they call Sadi Bel Ada. Jerry Gleason with that strange look in his eyes. An epidemic of narcotic smuggling. Sadi Bel Ada.
Oh, how graceful she is. She keeps looking over here, Lamont.
Yes. It's coming this way. Well.
Souvenir for the beautiful lady, sir. Oh, a bracelet. Thank you.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, fair lady.
Ah, you know the tongue of Mother India, sir.
Only enough to make a small prayer. Only enough for that. Sadi Bel Ada.
It is good sometimes to know a small prayer.
Just in case of an emergency?
Yes. You are very wise, sir. In case you should meet someone who could destroy you, sir.
I see.
Cela. Just what did you mean by that?
I don't know exactly. Funny sort of thing. She seems to know something about me. I'm trying to recall where I've seen that face.
Look, she's stopping at the table by the door. Why, it's young Jerry Gleason. She handed him something.
Good Lord.
He's going out with her. What's the matter with
It just struck me, Margot. That boy's face. The color of his skin.
You mean drunk?
Yes. The poppy of India.
Oh, but not Jerry Gleason. Oh, that'd be too awful. And our old friend Claire Gleason, his aunt, who's tried so hard to steer him straight since his mother died, it would just about kill her.
Come, Margot.
We must do something.
We're going to. I did come here tonight with a vague idea that this Indian dancer might have some connection with the thing. But her veil threads some Jerry's interest in her. I'm pretty sure now.
What is he going to do?
I think the shadow will pay a call on Sadi Bel Ada in her dressing room. I think the shadow can strike back. Sadi, can anyone overhear us here in your dressing room?
Oh, no. What do you want, Alexis?
A message from the captain.
What then?
Tomorrow is the day. The police are getting closer. We sail tomorrow night. I beg.
I am not afraid of the police. But there is somebody else I am not sure about.
You took care of Jerry Gleason?
I gave him his medicine and sent him home.
But you bring him tomorrow night?
Do not fear, Alexis. Jerry will be with me when we sail. I have a way to let him know.
Good.
But the air blows from that window. Close it, Alexis.
Too bad we have to terminate. The grand success of Sadi Belada and the club Kalish.
Yes.
But as the Americans say, business is business, yes.
And we still have a small business with the rich papa, Jerry Gleason.
No doubt the richest part of our business, sweet Sadi. The rich man will pay well.
Who laughs?
Where are you? Speak.
I am here, in the shadow. But I'm afraid you can't see me.
Speak. And say who you are.
Have you never heard of the shadow?
Oh, the shadow? So it is you. Have I not somewhere in the past seen your face and known your name? I think so. Did you enjoy yourself tonight?
I warn you, Sadi Belada. Leave the Gleason boy alone. The boy to whom you give the evil drug.
I have no fear of you, Shadow Side. I hold a greater power. I hold the power of the temple bells of Neban.
You command the temple bells of Neban, do you?
Yes.
Either you lie, or you desecrate a great gift.
Put your strength against mine, White Effendi, and you will see how I desecrate that gift. I can cast your little spells aside and make them nothing. I can kill you.
Kill me? The shadow, Sadi?
Yes. If you dare to come to me again, will you come?
Who could refuse such an invitation? Especially when made by so charming a lady as yourself. Yes, I will come. And be sure you don't mistake my voice when I do come, Sadi Belada.
Well, what is it, Sergeant?
Excuse me, Commissioner. Old man Gleason is outside and insists he's got to see you.
Gleason? You mean Andrew Gleason?
Sure, the big Wall Street banker, friend of the mayor. Shall I let him come in?
All this blamed efficiency where it doesn't do any good.
I want to see you, Commissioner.
All right, Mr. Gleason.
What the devil is this town coming to?
Well, if you'll tell me what you're getting at...
My boy is what I'm getting at. He's lying home there with the worst case of delirium tremens I ever saw. Spent the night sopping up liquor in these rotten honky-tonks.
Mr. Gleason, if you think the police department's going around playing wet nurse to all the spoiled kids in this town... Is this what you came to see me about, Mr. Gleason?
It certainly is.
Well, I happen to have more important things on my mind right now.
Then you better get this on your mind. Because if you don't, I'll see to it that there's somebody here who does. And I can do it. Good day to you.
Well, seems like this was a busy day, sir. What with drunken college boys and millionaires.
This is another of those... Commissioner Weston speaking.
Why, you... Don't lose your patience, Commissioner. The Shadow has information that may help you. Young Jerry Gleason is becoming a drug addict.
What?
Yes. A victim of this flood of drugs being peddled on our streets. It might cost you your job. Are you interested, Commissioner?
Ladies and gentlemen, while we're waiting for the shadow to return, I want to relay a bit of information I'm sure homeowners here in the New England states will find particularly interesting. When buying your winter supply of fuel, bear this in mind. Anthracite coal is unequaled for home use. It is not a flashy fuel that burns furiously for a little while, then dies down completely. On the contrary, folks, anthracite burns slowly, steadily, evenly all day long, and so enables you to maintain an even, healthful room temperature. That's why anthracite is called the solid fuel for solid comfort. And friends, remember this. Furnaces, cook stoves, and space heaters in this section of the country were especially designed to burn anthracite. So, insist on anthracite, but get the best. Order blue coal. It's America's finest. Blue coal is mined by the Glen Alden Company, the world's largest producers of Pennsylvania anthracite. To guarantee you the greatest heating satisfaction at the lowest cost, blue coal is laboratory tested for purity and uniformity of size. So you see, friends, there's no need to take chances on unknown fuels. Order blue coal today. You will find the name of your nearest blue coal dealer listed in the Where to Buy It section of your classified telephone directory under the name Blue Coal.
Margot?
Yes. As though they came out of nowhere.
The temple bells of Neban. Listen. 3 soft notes will strike, and then the spell will be broken.
They're gone. But how, Lamont? Here we sit in your apartment listening to weird temple bells. Where did they come from? How did you do it?
Not too difficult, Margot, dear. Those who've learned its secret. Its secret based on the phenomenon of telepathy combined with the old science of the yoga. The same magic which gives voice to a shadow.
It's a very awe-inspiring demonstration.
If there should be someone who could command the temple bells of Naban, the shadow would cease to be a shadow.
You mean they could see?
Yes. At the last stroke of the bell, I would be only what I am. Lamont Cranston. My magic invisibility, so to speak, dispelled by this greater power.
And you think there is someone with this power?
I'm not sure. Years ago, in India, a yogi priest, keeper of the Temple of the Cobras at Delhi, taught me the ancient mysteries. He taught me the mesmeric trick that the underworld calls invisibility. There was a small girl, his niece, who used to sit and listen, staring up at us with her round, dark eyes. She was very clever. Clever. I've often wondered what became of her.
The Cobras. You don't mean the Indian dancer at the club camp?
I'm not sure, Margot. I'm not sure.
Oh, but this worries me, Lamont. Aren't you going into dangers too big for you?
Don't worry about me, Margot. Worry about the boy and all other poor, miserable wretches who have toiled in this awful drug traffic. Is young Beeston safe?
Yes, his father made him go to bed. They thought he'd been drinking too much.
Well, guess it's time I got busy.
Have you found out anything else?
1 or 2 things. In Sade Delata's dressing room, I found a note signed by Captain Marlin of the freighter Albore Castle. I think there's some connection there. I'm going to find out. First, though, I'm going to the zoo.
The zoo?
Yes. Yes, I want to borrow a decorative little reptile from my friend the curator. He's usually very obliging.
Open that door.
Look. Hanging from the door now.
Snake.
Don't touch it.
It's all right. It's a dead one. There's a note with it. So, she's not bluffing. She does know who I am.
Oh, Lamont, I'm frightened for you. What does it say?
It says, dead cobras are better playthings than live ones. Was I mistaken?
Then it's not about. Oh, Lamont.
Margot, it's a challenge.
But the bell. The bells of Nebon. Oh, I'm afraid the shadow this time will get beyond his gate.
We shall see, Margot. We shall see who is stronger. Sadi and the bells of Nebon, or the shadow and the snake.
I'll show them. They think they can keep me a prisoner in my own house, putting me to bed as if I was some half-grown kid. What's that?
Jerry, you hear me?
Is it you, Sadi?
Yes. My voice in your thoughts. Listen, Jerry. Come to me at the dock where we met before. Your medicine is waiting.
Yes.
Go aboard the ship I told you about. The Elbora Castle. You and I, Jerry.
Yes.
I am waiting, Jerry.
But they've locked me in.
Go through the window, Jerry. Come now.
Yes, Sadi. The window.
Margot Lane. Stand by for orders. Jerry Gleason has escaped from his house. But I have followed him to the waterfront, and I know where he's going. Get word to Commissioner Weston. Time is short. I accept Sadi's challenge. Send harbor police to the freighter Albore Castle, which lies in the harbor just off Bay Ridge shore, ready to sail. Hurry, Margot.
Depressing here in this cabin, Sadie Bell.
Ain't it? Why do you tremble so, Annette?
I wish we were far at sea on our way to Rio.
Oh, be patient. There are some notes was delivered to Papa Gleason?
Yes. What was that?
There is nothing.
Oh, it's you, Captain. We are leaving, Captain? Yes, we're getting on the way now. We've got the boys stowed safely below decks.
And the rest of the medicine?
We got rid of that. What was left of it. A nice clean-up for all hands, not counting this Gleason job. That'll net us another 100,000 or nothing. Well, we're fixed whichever way the dice roll.
And after that, we live like kings without a care, yes?
Not even a conscience to bother you.
What? Sadie, he has come. I was afraid. Who said that?
I did, Captain.
So you're the one with your trick ghost talk and magic, eh? I'll make a shadow out of you soon enough.
Not that way, Captain.
No? Here, lock that door, Alexis. It is locked, Captain Malin, but the porthole... No one can get through those, not even a shadow. Save your laugh, whoever you are. We've got you. You're in this cabin somewhere, and this ship is outward bound. Laugh that off.
I think you may have made 3 mistakes, Captain. One too many.
Yes?
Yes, Captain.
But I do not make mistakes, sir.
That remains to be seen, Sade Belada.
Then you will see. Hand me the wicker basket, Alex.
Hey, what are you going to do?
Yes, Daddy.
I call the temple bells of Niban, Captain. The shadow has the power to blind your eyes. A trick he learned in India from a yogi who was my uncle. But I have a better trick. When the last bell sounds while the sacred cobra dances, you will see the shadow only as a man. Be ready to shoot, Captain.
I'm ready.
And now, my cobra, to dance with the bells of Niban.
I wouldn't open that basket if I were you, Sade Belada.
You watch my pretty cobra, sir. He may find you even before the captain's bullet. You will die just as quickly.
Dead cobras are better playthings than live ones.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Make your small prayer, sir. And now, my pretty one, begin to dance.
Be careful, Sadibel. The cobra moves towards you.
My own pretty cobra. He knows me. You hear the bells, Shadow? The temple bells of Niban?
I hear them.
When the last bell strikes, we shall see our prisoner.
And I'm waiting for that minute. But, Sadie, the cobra! Look out! He's going to strike.
Alexis! Something! Look!
Quick! Pop the basket over Alexis! Kill him! Sadie! Sadie!
The shadow warned you, Sade Belada.
You take credit for this too, do you?
No. Sade should have known it was not her cobra in the wicker basket. It was mine.
She's dead. What's that? Who is it?
Captain Allen, the police, the border.
No, please, Captain Malin, you do not shoot.
Stand back here, Captain. I'll fix him. Put the bracelets on both of them, Sergeant.
Right.
Dope smugglers, kidnappers, and from the looks, murderers. This time the police were too smart for you.
Oh, decidedly.
Huh? Who's that?
Thanks for coming, Commissioner. You were very helpful.
The story you have just heard is copyrighted by the Shadow magazine. The characters in this story are entirely fictitious. Any similarity to persons living or dead is purely coincidental.
The weed of crime bears bitter fruit. Crime does not pay. The shadow knows.
listening to HOJO Radio. More classic old-time radio coming your way next.
Who knows what evil lurks in the hearts of men? The shadow knows.
Blue Coal presents The Shadow, the mystery man who strikes terror in the very hearts of shopsters, lawbreakers, and criminals. Ladies and gentlemen, when you hear The Shadow's blood-curdling laugh, you can be sure that exciting entertainment will follow. And here's something else that you can be sure of. When you buy Blue Coal, you're getting the finest of Pennsylvania hard coal. The harmless blue coloring that identifies Blue Coal is your guarantee of clean, even, safe, dependable heat all winter long. So don't take chances. Insist on Blue Coal. Ask for it by name. Phone your order to your nearest Blue Coal dealer tomorrow. And be sure to hold on for John Barclay's important message at the end of this program. The plot murder announced for today has been postponed. Today, the Circle of Death.
Oh, Jack, what a delightful show. What a wonderful way to start our honeymoon.
Darling, when it comes to shows and girls, I'm a swell picker. Now watch me pick a nightclub.
Oh, taxi! Hey, taxi!
Darling, I think you're wonderful. I've never had such a marvelous time in my life.
Hop in, honey.
Well, things are pretty quiet around the theater district tonight, Bill.
Yeah, pretty thin crowd.
I don't blame folks for staying away. After those 3 bombings and 15 people being blown to pieces, I wouldn't be here myself if it wasn't the commissioner's orders.
Same here. Boy, has this town got the jitters.
Commissioner Weston's hopping around like a cat on a hot stove.
I hear the Midtown Association is going to ask for his resignation if he don't catch the nut that's scattering bombs around here like confetti on New Year's Eve.
The guy that's pulling these jobs sure must have it in for a lot of people.
Yeah, he's a real screwball if you ask me. Look at the way he's always sending warnings to the newspapers before he blows another batch of pedestrians to Hades.
Yeah, and have you noticed? He always ends his notes by saying, I hate crowds.
Yeah. Well, this is the time that crazy goof warned he'd set off another blast.
Maybe his watch is slow.
Things are going to pop if he pulls another job and kills any more people.
Well, maybe all the cops have him scared off.
Maybe.
Maybe not. Bill, look at that car. Blown to smithereens.
As killer strikes again. 5 more dead. Get your paper here, pants. Read all about the mad maniac trader squad.
It's horrible, Lamont, horrible.
It's senseless and insane, Margot. Crimes like this always are. Turn on the radio. It's time for a news bulletin. The switch on the dashboard.
All right, Lamont.
Back upon the inefficiency of the police department. Tonight at Midtown Hall, a meeting of businessmen of the entertainment world and property owners is in progress. Police Commissioner Weston has been asked to defend his department and produce results or resign.
That's enough, Margaret.
Washington, D.C.
Now, listen carefully.
Yes, Lamont.
I want you to go to that protest meeting right over there at Midtown Hall. Commissioner Weston is speaking, and the crowd is pretty certain to heckle his explanation of the failure of his department to catch this fiend.
I'm sure of
Now,
it.
here's what I want you to do. Keep quiet and watch your chance. Then I want you to cry out that Shadow could solve this crime without half trying.
Aren't you flattering yourself?
Never mind that, Margot. I have a very definite reason for doing this. A lot depends on your getting the crowd to take up your suggestion.
I'll do my best, Lamont. But where are you going?
I won't be far away. Hand me that leather case on the floor.
Here you are. Am I permitted enough womanly curiosity to ask what's in it?
Just a little wiretapping device.
Telephone?
No, Commissioner Weston will be talking over the loudspeaker system in Midtown Hall. Don't be surprised if the Shadow interrupts his speech. Now remember, Margot, cry out at the psychological moment. Hundreds of lives depend on it.
We don't want alibis, Weston. Crazy man's making a fool of you, Weston.
Gentlemen! As I have explained to you, every available resource of the police department has been thrown into catching this fiend. Our bomb squads have combed the city. Every known criminal with psychopathic tendencies has been rounded up and questioned. Not one fragment of a bomb has been found. No buildings have been damaged. No one person has been singled out for death. This is not an ordinary crime. We are not dealing with an ordinary criminal.
Alibis! Alibis! We've had enough. 15 people dead. 50 injured. And you talk. Talk. Business is at a standstill. We're being ruined. The whole city's in a panic. Get this Jello or resign, Weston. Get off. Let the mayor appoint somebody with brains enough to catch this maniac. Before he strikes again. Yes.
The Shadow could solve this crime without half trying.
Here's an idea. The Shadow. Yes, the Shadow, Lieutenant. He's cracked cases for you before, Weston. Why don't you call him in? He wouldn't have to do much to do a better job of it than the police have. Get the Shadow, Weston. What about it, Commissioner? You've done nothing in 2 weeks. You're late.
Wait a minute. Hold on. What makes you think this man who calls himself the Shadow is interested in law and order?
He's helped to trap plenty of criminals, hasn't he?
Yes, he's tipped us off occasionally, but it may have been to get rid of rivals. We have no assurance he isn't a criminal himself.
What of it? A thief can catch a thief.
I don't run my department that way.
You're not running it at all.
That's a matter of opinion.
You're not running it.
I was asked here to tell you what we've been doing. You seem to think my department works with the Shadow. We don't. We never have. And as for the Shadow, and you reporters can spread it all over the front pages, I challenge him to uncover one single scrap of evidence that my men have overlooked. I challenge the Shadow to find this maniac.
Wait a minute. I am the Shadow. I accept that challenge, Commissioner Weston. I am working on the case. Gentlemen of the press, it will not be necessary for you to print the Commissioner's challenge, but you can print this challenge to the arch fiend behind this reign of terror. Print this, gentlemen. The Shadow will track the mass killer if he dares walk through the Central Arcade during the rush hour between 5 and 6 tomorrow night. Remember, the Central Arcade between 5 and 6 tomorrow night. I dare him to come to walk through the Central Arcade.
Boy, you here. Give me a paper.
That's 2 cents, mister.
Here's your 2 cents.
Oh, thanks. Here's the paper.
No, not that one on top. People, crowds have seen it.
Well, so what? They're all the same.
No. Give me that one underneath.
Okay, the customer's always right.
Hey, you mass murderer, challenged by the Shadow. That's your extra paper.
The Central Arcade tomorrow. So he's daring me, this Shadow fellow. He knows I hate crowds, and people pushing and getting in my way, voices talking and shouting. I hate them. But I'll show them. I'll show the Shadow fella, too. I'll fool all of them. I'll accept his challenge. I'll be there at the Central Arcade. And the Shadow fella will know I was there. The whole world will know. After I've gone.
Your orders have been carried out, Commissioner Weston.
Good. There'd better not be any slip-ups.
200 patrolmen are stationed in the neighborhood of the Central Arcade. 50 picked men of the plainclothes and bomb squad will be in the crowd. If there is a crowd.
There'll be a mob after all the publicity. If I could get my hands on the Shadow, I'd wring his neck for this. What time is it?
A little after 4, sir.
We better get down there pretty soon.
Yes, sir. Shall I take that call, sir?
No. I've been waiting for this. And if it's who I think it is... Hello! Listen to me, Shadow.
No, Commissioner Weston. You listen to me.
I'm listening.
Quick, Collars, trace this call.
Yes, sir.
Don't bother, Commissioner. You can't trace this call. I've tapped a line, just as I tapped the Midtown loudspeaker system last night.
So that's how you pulled that crazy stunt. You're a fool, Shadow. Don't you realize you've endangered the lives of thousands of people?
Nothing will happen if you do not interfere.
I don't take my orders from you, Shadow. You're not running the police department.
I'm not giving orders, but I need your help. Just do one thing for me, and you and not the Shadow will get the credit for the capture of the mass killer.
Oh, yes? Well, what do you want?
Just keep the crowd moving through the narrow arcade. Just keep them moving. Keep them moving. Everything depends on that.
What are you trying to do, Shadow?
To find a needle in a haystack. A man in a million.
You haven't a chance. The maniac won't come.
You overlook the fact that a dare is a powerful psychological magnet that no egotistical, crazed mind can resist. Just keep that crowd moving, Commissioner. Keep them moving.
When you start figuring ways and means to save money for Christmas gifts, fuel is probably the last thing that comes to mind. Naturally, you don't want to jeopardize the health and comfort of your family. But did you know that you can actually have better heat for less money simply by burning blue coal? Here's why. Blue coal is a rich Pennsylvania anthracite. The fuel that furnaces, space heaters, and cooking ranges in this part of the country were especially designed to burn. And while other fuel prices are advancing, the cost of anthracite is not. No wonder thousands of homeowners are switching back to anthracite. No wonder anthracite is the fuel that is used for cooking purposes on the nation's crack passenger trains. They've tested all kinds of fuel and found that anthracite is far more economical because it burns long, steadily, evenly, with minimum drafts and less attention. Now, the cream of all Pennsylvania anthracite is blue coal. It comes from the mines of the famous Glen Alden Coal Company. It's tested and retested for purity and uniform sizing. Blue coal is prepared especially for home use, and it comes in all domestic sizes: egg, stove, chestnut, and beef. So if you want clean, even, dependable heat at lowest cost, always order blue coal. Phone your nearest blue coal dealer tomorrow. You'll find his name listed in the Where to Buy It section of your classified telephone directory under the name Blue Coal.
Keep moving. Well, the time's almost up, Commissioner Weston.
Yes. 2 minutes to 6. Oh, this is the longest hour I've ever spent in my life.
Can you beat it the way people have flocked here on the chance of seeing somebody else blown to bits by this maniac?
Looks like the Shadow was right. The way they've been swarming through this arcade.
Yeah, and watching each other like a bunch of wild animals. You see what happened to that poor guy with the Christmas box? I nearly killed him before we got him out. All he had was a doll for his kid.
I saw it.
Well, the time's up, Commissioner.
Yes. Thank heavens.
Any orders, sir?
Just keep the men on duty till this crowd thins out. They'll be going home now.
Commissioner Weston, look.
What is it?
The maniac. He's been here. Look at this piece of paper.
Where'd you get it?
In the arcade. He must have dropped it.
Well, what's it say, Commissioner?
Tell that Shadow fellow I'll kill me a lot more people at 11 o'clock tonight.
Lamont, oh, I was afraid something had happened
Something
to you.
has. I found the maniac.
Thank heavens. Have you notified the police?
Margot, this man is a fiend. If I notified the police and they bungled things, he might kill hundreds of people. This is a job that the Shadow must handle alone.
But Lamont, he's dangerous. You might fail. He might kill you.
The Shadow won't fail, Margot. But if he should, it's far better that one die than hundreds.
Oh, Lamont, please. There must be a safer way.
Perhaps, Margot, but this is the only sure way to end the career of this mass killer. Goodbye, my dear.
Lamont. Oh, Lamont.
quietly, Connors. Here comes the headquarters car.
Yeah, it's Commissioner Weston's car. He's plenty worried about this maniac threatening to kill another batch of people at 11 tonight.
Well, he'll sure have to go out to the theater area to kill him. They won't let anybody in the district here without a police permit.
Wait a minute. Here comes a guy. Hey, you. You.
Who, me?
Yeah, you. Where do you think you're going?
Me? I'm going to work. That's where I'm going.
Got a permit?
Got a badge. See? Says I'm a night watchman. I got to go to work.
What do you watch? Where do you work?
I watch things in the ground. Down there.
Down where?
Down under the street. Down under the planks.
Oh, I get it, Bill. He's a night watchman down on the new subway they're building.
Yes, that's it. I go down them steps. Every night I go down them steps and watch.
Well, why did you say so? Get on with you. Get to your watching.
Thank you. Joe Tonetti is waiting for me so he can go home. Every night at 10:30, I take from him the job of watching.
Now, that's a job I wouldn't want any part of.
Me neither. I'll pound my feet on the street now.
Oh, Joey Tonetti. Joe, you can go home now. I'm here to watch.
Hey, what's the matter? You're half a big speakerback fella. You're 5 minutes late. I want to go home. Here's the keys to everything now. You watch out. You don't go to sleep.
The police don't want to let me come to work, but I show them the badge. You can go home now, Joey. I'll watch everything.
Okay. See you in the morning. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Oh, those people. So many people always pushing me. But I'll show them. I'll fix them good. I'll kill him. That shadow fella, I'll show him, too. Now I'm alone. All alone.
Not quite, Anton Spivak. You are not quite alone. I am with you.
Huh?
Do you hear my voice, Anton?
Sure. I always hear voices in the dark, on the street, and here under the street where I watch every night.
Yes, Anton. But you've never heard my voice before, have you?
Well, maybe. I don't think so. What's different about your voice?
It's the voice of the shadow.
Oh, you're a pretty smart voice. How'd you find me? Where's that shadow fella the newspapers talk about?
I am more than just a voice, Anton Spivak. I am the shadow.
You're the shadow?
Yes.
Where are you hiding?
I am hiding under the cloak of invisibility. You cannot see me because I have clouded your mind, so you cannot see that which is here.
How did you get down here in this subway excavation?
I followed you down the steps.
How'd you know where to find me?
I picked you out of the crowd in the central arcade.
How did you know I was the one?
Your eyes showed me. I knew then how much you hate crowds.
My eyes show you?
Yes. You passed close to me as I stood in the shadows.
Huh?
The arcade is narrow. You didn't see me. No one saw me. But I saw you.
How'd you find out my name?
I followed you to the place where you live. I found out you work here in the tunnels.
Then you followed me here from my home tonight?
Yes, Anton Spivak. All the way.
Good. You're a very clever shadow. But you must go now and let me do my work. My work. I ain't got much time. Now go quick before I get mad. You're plenty smart. I'm glad to know you, Mr. Shadow, but no, you have to go.
Yes, I'm smart. But you're smarter.
You bet.
Let me stay. I want to learn. You can teach me things. Then maybe we can work together.
You hate people, too?
Yes. I hate crowds. Let me watch you and learn.
All right. I'll let you watch.
What are you going to do?
Yeah, now, you just watch.
What's in this shed?
You see? Dynamite. Sticks and sticks of dynamite.
Is this what you use to kill people with?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. My precious dynamite. They kill the crowds I hate, see? Now, look here. Here's a stick of dynamite already fused. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 sticks of dynamite to go with it. Now, you watch. See, Shadow, I tie them in a bundle.
But how do you take that dynamite to the place where you killed all those people? It's a block away. How do you carry it?
That's where I'm smarter than you, Mr. Shadow.
Show me.
I'll show you. Now, look, see, it's almost 11 o'clock. Now, here. You see this little hook? I hook the dynamite to it.
Then what, Anton?
Wait, you hear that car overhead on the boards?
Yes.
Well, if the light is red, it will stop right over our heads. Now listen. There, you see? The light is red. Now I take this crowbar. I go up this ladder. Come on, you come with me.
Yes, I am still here. Although you cannot see me.
Now you watch it. I pry the end of this plank back, see? And I hook the dynamite on the brake rods. I strike a match. And I light the fuse. And when the light changes, the car takes the dynamite with it. And when the dynamite explodes a block away, I'm still here. While the... Oh, no, you put out the fuse. You've tricked me.
And here is the dynamite.
No, you took it off the car. It's gone without the dynamite. And I promised I'd kill a lot of people tonight. Now I have to wait. Tomorrow the crowds will be still pushing me, scaring me. You tricked me. That's what you did. You tricked me. Where are you, Shadow? Shadow. Come here, Shadow. Nice, Shadow. Nice, Shadow.
I'm here, Anton Spivak.
Yes, I hear you. Nice, Shadow. Come close to me.
Put down that dynamite, Anton.
No, Shadow. I light another match.
If you touch that match to the fuse, you'll die too.
But I'll kill you, and I don't care. You wouldn't let me kill people, and I don't want to live. I want to die. I want you to die too, Shadow.
Wait, Anton.
No, you blow out my match.
Yes, I have a plan. Those thousands of people waiting up the street.
Yes?
You can kill all those people. Wouldn't that be better than just killing the two of us?
How? Tell me how.
Take your dynamite and come with me. Up the steps. Up to the street.
Oh, no. There's policemen out there. I saw them.
But they won't see you any more than you can see me.
No. They will see me.
Hypnotize them.
Huh?
Hypnotize them. Look straight at them. Stare at them. And then they won't be able to see you.
No, I'm afraid.
Think of all those people waiting to be killed. Come. Just a few more steps. I am with you. You'll be safe.
I'll try. All those people waiting to be killed. I'll try it. But don't you leave me, Shadow, or I'll light the fuse.
I'm here, Anton Spivak. Look, there are the two policemen. Just stare at them hard as you pass, and they won't see you.
All right, I'll try.
Well, it's past 7, Connors.
Looks like a false alarm this time. Hey, wait a minute. Here's that night watchman.
Yeah, what's the matter with him? What's he staring at?
Look what he's carrying.
You can't see me.
Dynamite. Grab him.
No. Take it away from me. Let me go. Hold it. No, I said no.
I got him. It's a match killer.
No. He lied. He fooled me. He said you couldn't see me. No. Give me my dynamite. I want to kill all those people.
Hold him.
No.
Here's Commissioner Weston. We got him. We got the maniac, Chief.
Let me look at him.
No. He tricked me. He said you couldn't see me.
Where'd he come from?
About a subway excavation, Commissioner. He's a night watchman.
No. He tricked me. The shadow tricked me.
Oh.
It was the shadow.
Yes, Commissioner Weston. The shadow. I found the killer, but the glory is all yours.
Before we tell you of the Shadow's next exciting adventure, here's John Barclay, Blue Coal's famous heating expert, with an important message I promised you. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Barclay.
Friends, there are just 2 more days left in November. That means that homeowners have only 2 more days in which to phone their Blue Coal dealers and get the full details on how they may have a Blue Coal heat regulator installed in their homes for a free trial period of 2 weeks. To me, this is the most unusual offer ever made. The free use of a Blue Coal heat regulator for 2 whole weeks without any obligation on your part to buy. Believe me, friends, until you've used one of these marvelous thermostats, you don't know what real comfort is. Imagine having your home warm and cozy from morning till night without once having to make a trip down to the furnace. And that's not all. You'll find you burn far less coal with this regulator, too. But don't take my word for it. See for yourself. Phone your Blue Coal dealer tomorrow. I thank you.
Friends, for your own sake, do as Mr. Barclay suggests. Phone your Blue Coal dealer tomorrow and get full details of this amazing free trial offer. Prove to yourself what thousands of satisfied owners already know, that with a Blue Coal heat regulator, you get more uniform heat, more economical heat than the most expensive oil burner can give you. But don't wait. Phone your Blue Coal dealer tomorrow. The story you have just heard is copyrighted by the Shadow magazine. The characters in this story are entirely fictitious. Any similarity to persons living or dead is purely coincidental.
The weed of crime bears bitter fruit. Crime does not pay. The Shadow knows.
Our next old-time radio show was billed as mystery at its best. It solved psychological mystery, whodunit thrillers, and crime crusades with a cast of network stars. Like so many of the great radio talents who labored in the background, unseen and unheralded, this show, made for transcription, has receded into the ethers of old-time radio without a history. See, there were no credits, so the cast and production crews are unknown. A time when imagination was free and moved swiftly, silently. This is The Haunting Hour, next on HOJO Radio.
No, stay where you are. Do not break the stillness of this moment. For this is a time of mystery. A time when imagination is free and moves forward swiftly, silently. This is the Haunting Hour. A corpse there was.
Will you listen to me? I've got to tell it to someone, and
Well, I guess you've heard a lot of strange stories. I'm Catherine Holland. It all started about a year after I'd come to work for Martin Reed and Stephen Corey as the housekeeper. Oh, we'd have such fun, the three of us. Martin was forever making me promise that I'd be with them always. Always. I didn't know how long that could be.
You're only joking, huh, Kathy? You wouldn't leave us. You'll stay with us always, won't you?
Not if you keep doing that, Martin.
Oh, you'll get used to it, Kathy.
Oh, but cutting your own name on a tombstone, it's positively morbid.
I don't see that. If a cobbler can make his own shoes, then surely a stone cutter can make his own monument.
Well, that's true.
After all, a man must do something with his spare time. And you, Stephen, of all people, have no right to scoff at me. Imagine a cemetery caretaker who wanders through the graveyard day and night, talking to the dead.
If the people I met outside the cemetery, my dear Martin, were as interesting as the people I meet inside, perhaps I wouldn't. Since there are only neighbors along this godforsaken road, and since I must get away from you occasionally...
Now, look here, enough is enough.
Are we going to let her boss us around, Martin? You nearly 60 and me twice her age?
That's right. You're 42, aren't you, Stephen?
Yep.
You know, I think for your next birthday, I'll start on a nice marble headstone for you.
Okay, I quit. I resign.
Oh, no, don't say that, Kathy. We need you, Stephen and I. Always before, our housekeepers were stout and rheumatic. You're so young. It was like all at once having the shades pulled up and the windows opened when you came. You won't leave us, will you, Kathy?
No, I won't leave you, Martin.
You promise?
I do. If you promise to take your medicine.
No, I told you, Kathy. I don't believe in that quack doctor. There's nothing wrong with my heart.
Oh, Martin, don't be stubborn.
It's not a matter of being stubborn. I know I'm perfectly all right.
How about those attacks you've had?
They were indigestion.
You don't want to take that medicine because you and the doc have been enemies for years. You won't give him the satisfaction of treating you, even if it means...
Please, Kathy. Don't you think I'm old enough to know my own mind?
But Kathy's right, Martin. You should take your medicine.
Oh, now you start. I'm going for a walk.
I'll go with you.
I don't want company.
Now he's mad.
Oh, don't take it to heart. He'll get over it.
I wish he hadn't gone out in this weather.
Yeah, I think it's getting worse. I'll go call him back.
Stephen, what's that noise?
I don't know. It was just outside the house. It's our cedar tree. That last flash of lightning struck it. There seems to be... Kathy!
What? Move away from the door so I can see too.
No, Kathy, please. Stay in here a minute. I'll go out.
Oh, I'll go with you.
I think I see something beside the cedar. Come on, Kathy.
Stephen, it can't be.
Yes. It's Martin. He's dead.
The tree?
It didn't touch him. He died from the shock of it falling so close. It was heartbreaking.
Strange, isn't it? The last tombstone he ever carved was his own. We buried Martin the next evening. There weren't many mourners. We lived too far from town to be well acquainted. At last, the few who'd come went away and left Stephen and me alone at the grave. They've all gone.
Your eyes are all red, Kathy.
Do you suppose he likes where we buried him? Right across the road from the house?
I'm sure he does. He can sort of watch us from here if he gets lonely.
It won't be us much longer, Stephen.
What do you mean?
Well, I can't stay here with just you. It isn't proper.
Kathy, you know I wouldn't...
Oh, I know, but what'll people think?
I don't care about people. They're not important.
Well, they are to me. I have a good reputation, Stephen, and I don't
Kathy, don't leave me.
Oh, but I must.
Losing Martin was unbearable, but if I lost you, I'd have nothing left.
I'm sorry, Stephen.
There'd be no one to care if I live or die. If you go, I'll be all alone.
You'll find another housekeeper.
Housekeeper? Oh, Kathy, dearest, don't be such a little fool.
I'm not a fool.
You are if you can't see how much I love you.
You love me? Oh, no.
How could I help it? You're sweet and fresh and lovely. And I never knew before what joy it was to watch a woman. Anything you do, the way you walk and laugh, even the way you get angry. It's beautiful.
Oh, keep away from me. I don't know what's come over you.
I was content just having you about the house, being near you, but now... Oh, my darling, you mustn't go away.
Oh, please don't look at me like that. Please, Stephen.
Dearest, let's get married. I'll make you happy.
No, I don't love you. Don't touch me. Oh, I like you a lot. I'm very fond of you, but... Well, it's not love. I could never love you.
Why, Kathy? I'll make you a good
Oh,
husband.
no, Stephen, no. You're twice my age.
But I'd worship you, Kathy, dearest.
Oh, will you quit bawling Kathy, dearest, at me like a lost lamb? I'm going to the house and pack my things.
I won't let you go. You belong to me.
I don't belong to anyone. If you don't get out of my way, I'll throw this rock at you.
There's someone else. You love someone else.
No, Stephen, I just don't love you. Don't come near me. I'll throw it, I swear.
Kathy, no!
I told you I would, didn't I? Why couldn't you believe me? Well, get up. Stephen! He was lying on his back, motionless. I bent over him and... his face, the rock had caught him between the eyes. I couldn't think. I was terrified. I only knew that Stephen was dead, that I had killed him. A murderess, that's what everybody would say. They put me on trial, all those faces gaping at me like I wasn't human, and then no. I had to get out of here. The road past the graveyard. If I followed it, I'd reach the main highway. I'd run. I'd run so fast no one would catch me. Oh, it was dark. The body wouldn't be found till morning. By then I'd be far away. I had to keep moving. Had to. Where could I go? Where could I hide? Flying down the road for hours and hours. Till my legs were numb and my heart tearing and my chest deafening me with its thunder. No, that wasn't my heart. It was a car. They were looking for me. Somehow they'd found Stephen already. Oh, it was getting nearer and nearer. I slipped behind a tree. Not police. Not police at all. Picnickers. Oh, the only ones who might have seen me. They'll forget they even passed this way once they're safe at home. Safe at home. Suddenly, I realized what a fool I'd been. I couldn't escape a police dragnet by running away. They'd never stop looking for me. The best place to hide was at home. Why, of course. I'd gone back to the house from the funeral and straight to bed. Stephen had decided to stay at the grave a while longer. Everyone in town knew he liked to wander through the cemetery, and especially tonight, with Martin just buried. He must have caught a prowler, and the man had thrown a rock at him. That's how it happened. I felt perfectly calm. I turned around and started back. The sky had been cloudy all evening, but as I walked up the road toward home, it cleared. I remember how lovely the moonlight looked, spilling down the steps of the house. I started to climb them. Suddenly, I had an impelling desire to see Stephen's body. Well, I tried to fight it, but the thought of him, cold and crumpled, lying like some cast-off doll in an attic, hypnotized me. I went down the stairs and started across the road. He had been lying at the foot of Martin's grave, I remembered. From where I was, I couldn't make out the body. Well, that wasn't right. The old man was buried directly across from the house. I should be able to see Stephen. I slipped through the gate, hurried to where the corpse had lain. It was gone. There wasn't a trace of it. I dropped to my hands and knees, searching about the new mound of earth for some proof that it hadn't all been a nightmare, that I'd really killed Stephen. There wasn't anything. No matted grass where the blood should have dried. Nothing fallen from his pockets. Not even the stone with which I'd struck him. And it was so quiet. So deathly quiet. With the moon whitewashing Martin's headstone. And the one next to it. The one next to it. But there hadn't been any grave there before. And this one was fresh. As fresh as Martin's. I slowly raised my eyes and looked at the tombstone.
Stephen Corey, born May 9th, 1901. Died April 20th, 1944.
Why, I'd know that carving anywhere. Martin was dead. But Martin had made that gravestone.
Kathy stands in the moonlight, staring at the grave plaque of Stephen Corey, a plaque identical with the one Martin had made for himself before he died.
And yet, how could Martin have carved that headstone? He had not made one for Stephen before he died, I knew that. Still, Stephen had been buried, and the date on the monument was right. I felt the answer, but I pushed it back away from my mind. It couldn't be true that Martin had kept his promise even now and had carved the stone. That these dead who were Stephen's friends had buried him. Had he loved me so he wouldn't make me pay for what I'd done? Did he plead with them to cover him so I'd not be found out? I didn't know. I was paralyzed with fright. I had to get out of here back to the house before I lost my sanity. I don't know how long I lay there, cowering in my bed. At last, the darkness of the night closed in about me, and I slept. But then, out of the darkness, the doorbell rang. Sharp sound, a streak of fear over my flesh. The police had come. Stephen's grave had been discovered. I had to go to the door.
Are you Catherine Holland? I'm Estelle Bailey, Martin's sister.
Oh, yes, I should have known. Come in, Mrs. Bailey.
Stephen sent me a telegram this afternoon about Martin's death, and I took the first train out here. I'm sorry if I woke you.
Oh, that's quite all right. Come in. I know it's been a long trip. Perhaps I can fix you a bite to eat.
No, thank you. I'd like you to take me to see the grave right away.
Martin's grave? Now?
Miss Holland, I hadn't seen Martin for 9 years. I'm ashamed of that, and I want to rectify it now as soon as I can. If you won't take me, perhaps Mr. Corey will.
Oh, he's not here. He's in town.
Well, I'll wait up till he comes in.
Oh, you'll wait a long time.
I don't understand.
Oh, Stephen was quite shocked by your brother's death, you know, and, well, he felt he had to get away from this house, so, well, he mightn't be back tonight.
But if he went into town, why didn't he meet me at the station as he wrote he would?
Well, I don't know. Every moment she sat there, she'd think more and more about Stephen's absence. I had to distract her the only way I could. I had to take the chance that she wouldn't notice that other headstone. But if she did notice it, I would have to kill her, too. But just then, something happened to spare us both.
Oh, good heavens. Oh, look, it's raining again.
Yes, the moon's gone in. It's pitch black outside.
Then there's no use going into the cemetery, I suppose.
I'm afraid not, Mrs. Bailey. What a shame. Finally, she went upstairs. I waited until I knew she slept. Then I took a spade and crept across to the cemetery. It was wet and cold, but I didn't notice the weather. For I had a scheme. A very clever scheme. I was going to dig up someone else's headstone as well as Stephen's and switch the two. I couldn't disguise his new-made grave, but at least I'd conceal who was buried there. was just before dawn when I slipped back to the house. Mrs. Bailey woke me about 8, and together we went into the cemetery. I came up level with the graves, and... Oh, no. No, it couldn't be. I had switched them last night.
Stephen Corey, born May 9th, 1901. Died April 20th, 1944.
His headstone. Exactly where it had been before. But I had dug it up. There were blisters on my hands to prove it. Mrs. Bailey, had she noticed? No. She'd gone right to her brother's grave and stood staring at it, wiping away the tears.
I'm very glad of one thing, Miss Holland, that Martin is buried a little apart from everyone else. He liked to be alone most of the time, you know. Even in death, he would prefer solitude and being isolated from all the others.
Solitude? Isolated from all the others? But Stephen was lying right by his side. She couldn't see Stephen's headstone. It was incredible, but it was true.
Come, Miss Holland, it's raining. We might as well go now. I'll take the early train back to the city.
After she'd gone, the house was empty, yet full of a screaming silence. And I sat looking out at the grayness of the lonesome day. Had there really been a grave at all? Growing inside me was a grim fascination to see. The mud sucked at my shoes. Through the dusk, I walked determinedly toward that spot where the headstone stood. I slipped through the fence. Then I was standing beside the tree, leaning against it. For I couldn't believe what I saw. There, beside the others, stood a third headstone, and stretching almost at my feet, a freshly dug grave. Even before I crept forward to see, I knew what the plaque would say. Catherine Holland, born June 7th, 1923, dead April 21st, 1945. Tonight. April 21st. That was tonight. And I was still alive. Martin, listen to me wherever you are. I said I'd be with you always, but you can't force me to follow you. You can't force me to follow you. Tears filled my eyes. I took hold of a hateful stone and tried to flatten it into the ground, Then through the tears, I saw the dark bruises on my hands. Bruises on my hands, but, well, it wasn't possible that... I touched one of the dark splotches. It rubbed away. Then the truth went through my mind. I fell to my knees. The letters I thought were carved into the stone. They, too, were blurred. I drew my finger along my name. It was lettered in black crayon. Thick, archaic lettering, darker toward the middle than at the edges, giving the illusion of depth. Giving the illusion of being cut into the stone. Then that's how Stephen's headstone was made. That's how. I stood up. Fear fell over me like a cold, wet sheet. Behind this adventure was a human being. A being like myself. Then I saw the thing in the grass, sending a tiny sparkle toward the dust-filled sky, and greedily I picked it up. A copper-colored metal cap from an eyebrow pencil. So that was how the letters had been drawn. That was how this thing had happened. Then I knew who had done it. And even before I turned to look, I knew she was standing there, staring at me, unmoving, a thin smile on her lips, her eyebrows thin, too, penciled on with surety and deftness.
Turn around, Miss Holland. I see you have guessed the truth.
It was you. You killed him.
But do you think my conscience will hurt me as yours does? And would it make your death any easier to know you didn't kill Stephen Corey?
I don't understand you.
I'm telling you the truth. I came into the cemetery just as the last visitor left, and I saw you throw the rock at Corey. I saw you run for the road. You hadn't killed him, Miss Holland. He was only unconscious. But I made sure he was dead before I buried him.
Then you dug the grave here. That spade in your hand.
Will serve a double purpose. I shall kill you with it.
Just as you murdered Corey. Why? Why did you kill him?
Because Martin had willed all the family property to Corey, with the provision that when he died, it would return to me. I knew if his body weren't discovered, they'd think you and he had run away together. Then I'd have to wait for him to be declared legally dead.
And so you put up the plaque?
I felt sure I could persuade the county coroner to file a death certificate quietly. Then I'd show my lawyer the grave, show him that Corey, too, was dead. But you came back, so I have to kill you, too. Now you know the truth. Your time has come.
That spade, Mrs. Bailey.
Is for you, Miss Holland.
Stay back from me. Stay back.
I'm going to kill you.
I'm not afraid, Mrs. Bailey. You're real. I can fight you.
This will be your grave, and I shall bury you in it.
Give me that spade. Give it to me. Go here. I said that spade. Mrs. Bailey. My eyes were clouded with flashes of blackness. I lay on the ground, feeling the cold, wet earth against my cheek. Without warning, it had happened. One wall of the grave gave way, and she lost her balance and fell forward into the gaping hole. Dirt from the mound began rolling down, clods of it covering the edges of her long skirt. And she lay still, silenced, at the bottom of the grave. A few wet clods of earth were still slowly tumbling down, as if they had an intelligence of their own, an intelligence that told them to bury the dead. Bury the dead. For she was dead, and she had died instantly. Her neck twisted beneath her loosened, flowing hair that hid the hideous sight of her eyebrows, thin and long. Her neck was broken, and she lay in the grave she had meant for me. Perhaps, now I've told it, I can forget the horror of what's happened. But not soon. Not soon. One way Martin was right. In my brain, he and Stephen will be with me always.
From shadows and stillness, mystery weaves a spell of strangest fascination, charging the mind with doubts and fears. For mystery is a strange companion, a living memory in the haunting hour.
You're listening to HOJO Radio. More classic old-time radio coming your way next.
No. No, stay where you are. Do not break the stillness of this moment, for this is a time of mystery, a time when imagination is free and moves forward swiftly, silently. This is the haunting hour. shoe fits. It is early Sunday morning in the home of Mr. and Mrs. Destos. Mr. Destos is dressing hurriedly while his wife prepares breakfast. Suddenly he calls to her.
Helena! Helena!
Gregory, please do not call like that. Come here to the kitchen.
Helena, I cannot find my charm. Did you see it?
How many times will I tell you, Gregory? On Sunday morning, people want to sleep a little. They do not want to hear other people screaming.
But don't you hear? I have lost my lucky piece, Helena.
Oh, you mean the little coin that you brought to America from Greece?
Yes.
Here are your eggs.
Yes, but where is it?
Oh, I have not seen it. Perhaps you lost?
No, I must find it. It has brought me all the good luck we have had here, and I can never replace it. It's the only one of its kind.
Well, you should not have been so careless.
That is the remark of a fool. Never mind with you, I'll find it myself.
Gregory, it is the first time since we were married 3 years ago you speak to me like that.
Oh, well, forgive me, Helena. I did not mean that. It is just that the little coin means so much to me. And I'm in such a hurry, I don't know what I am saying.
Are you going to the shop again this Sunday?
Yeah, I must. There is so much to be done. I am making more shoes now than ever before, and it is important that I build up our little business and put away some money in case of need.
You will need it for doctor bills, Gregory, if you work like this. Day and night and Sundays as well. A man must have his rest.
You know how we say, Helena. Never cross your luck. I am now getting the finest clientele in this city. They cannot wait for the shoes. The orders must be filled, and I work alone.
What good is all the money if I never see you?
Well, that question you will have to ask Mr. Bollitt.
Mr. Bollitt? You mean...
Yes, Helena. I mean the richest, most important man in the city. I told you already I was working for his assistant, Mr. McIntyre.
Mr. McIntyre, I have found out, is not Mr. Bollitt's assistant, but his bodyguard.
So what is the difference? He promised he would get me the business of Mr. Bollitt, and he did.
You mean you have seen Mr. Bollitt?
Sure, many times.
Oh.
In fact, I am already making shoes for his whole family.
Tell me, Gregory, why does a man like Mr. Bollitt need a bodyguard like Mr. McIntyre?
Oh, what do I know, Helena? You know what it is with big, important men. They must be careful. And now I must go.
When will you be home, Gregory?
I don't know, Helena. We will have to see. Goodbye.
Goodbye, Gregory.
Mr. Destos live here?
Yes.
Is he home?
Could I ask, please, your name?
I'm Mr. Bollitt.
Oh, Mr. Bollitt. Oh, come in, please.
Come in, McIntyre.
Right. Where's your husband, Mrs. Destos?
He is not home.
You're lying.
I do not lie.
Just a minute, McIntyre. Where is your husband, Mrs. Destos?
I do not know.
I tell you, she's covering up, boss. Let me go through the house.
Just a minute. Mrs. Destos, do you recognize this coin?
Oh, it is my husband's good luck piece. But where did you get it?
Told you it belonged to him, boss.
That's all I want to hear. You know what to do, McIntyre.
Don't worry, I'll take care of him.
What is wrong? What has my husband done?
Don't worry, he won't do it again. And don't forget, McIntyre, if you don't find him before the day's over, there'll be a new man in your place tomorrow.
I told you not to worry, boss.
I'll be waiting to hear from you. Don't make it too long.
We might as well go inside and sit down, Mrs. Destos.
What are you going to do?
I'm going to wait for your husband.
I mean, after he gets here.
Well, don't you worry about that. Whatever I do, you should be glad I did it.
I do not understand.
All right. You want to know what's up? I'll tell you. That husband of yours is a no-good, two-timing double-crosser. Now do you understand?
No.
He's running around with other women.
Gregory? With other women?
And that ain't all. If he wants to run around with other women, that's his own business.
But when he starts fooling around with the boss's daughter, that's going too far.
My husband is going with Mr. Bollitt's daughter?
Mm-hmm. An 18-year-old kid.
Oh, no, but it is impossible. Gregory works all the time. In the night, in the day. How could he be able to go with anybody?
All depends what kind of work he's doing at night. Could be working at having a good time, you know.
But he's doing what you say. Why shouldn't he tell me? He's not afraid.
Maybe he's not afraid of you, but there's other people. We don't like anybody stepping in where they don't belong. See what I mean?
Yes.
Nothing is more important to Bollitt than his daughter Marion. There's nothing too good for her. And he didn't set her up like this for some little jerk shoemaker to cash in on everything.
But Gregory is my husband. How could he
That's just what makes it so tough. You see, whatever he's going to get, he's got it coming to him.
But how did you find out all this?
From that lucky coin he carries around?
Oh.
Only this time it ain't so lucky.
You knew it was his?
Mm-hmm. He showed it to me. Told me there wasn't another one like it in the country. And naturally, when Bollitt found it on his daughter's dressing table, it was a dead giveaway.
Oh. I see.
Now, there's no reason why you should take a beating for this, Mrs. Destis. Certainly ain't your fault. And I ain't getting any kick out of telling you. But for your own good, you might as well know what's happening.
Oh, thank you.
Where are you going?
I do not feel very good. I'm going out in the street for some air.
All right, I'm coming. Now, have you no patience to... Helena, is something wrong?
Close the door.
Yes, but you... Now, what is it, Helena? You are so pale.
Mr. Bollitt is looking for you. He came to our house.
Oh? What did he want?
He came with his assistant, Mr. McIntyre. They have found out that you are going out with Mr. Bollitt's daughter.
Me? I am going out with...
Please, Gregory. There is no need to try and hide it from me any longer. I know.
Oh, you are fooling.
First, I thought they were fooling. Then they showed me the lucky coin you had lost. Mr. Bollitt's daughter had it.
Oh, what you are saying, Elena, is so strange.
It does not matter. I have come to warn you. Beyond that, I have no further duty. You had better not come home. Mr. McIntyre is waiting there for you.
Mr. McIntyre? Oh, but then I should go to the police. They cannot do such things in America.
What would you tell the police? Do you think they would like to hear our married man is going with a single girl?
Helena, you do not believe that, do you?
Mr. Bollitt is not so much a fool as I. I thought you were working.
But, Helena, no, there is nothing for me outside of my work. And you... I swear, Helena, I have never even seen the girl. I do not even know what she looks like.
Only this morning you told me you were making shoes for all of Mr. Bollitt's family.
Yes, that is true. But for the daughter, I have been getting the measurements from an old pair of shoes.
Oh.
Sure, that is why Mr. Bollitt has been so pleased with my work. He says there is nobody but me who makes custom shoes to fit so perfect by just looking at an old pair.
Oh, perhaps it is true.
Would you believe them before me, Helena?
I do not know.
It is something we do not see that is behind this. But that does not matter now. It matters only that you believe me. Oh, we have gone through so much together, Helena. How could you think that I would do such a thing to you?
But there is the coin. How did the girl happen to have it?
That is what I must find out. And I must get it back.
No, Gregory. You cannot do that. You must forget about it.
But why? It is mine and it has brought me luck.
No, you have not seen the face of Mr. McIntyre. I have seen that kind of face before. I know what he has in his mind. It is not good.
But what am I to do, Helena? I cannot go away and leave you.
You must, Gregory. You cannot even come home. You must leave right away. Then, when you find a place, you will write to me. And I will follow.
How do I know what what they will do to you if I leave.
Oh, I will be all right.
Then, if you say so, I will go, Helena.
Listen, here is all the money I have with me. You will go right from here to the railroad station.
I did not think that here in America we would have to... Goodbye, my Helena.
Hurry. There is not much. Mr. McIntyre.
Do not say anything.
Just going out for a little walk, huh, Mrs. Justice? Led me right to him.
What do you want, Mr. McIntyre?
I'll tell you later. Get your hat and coat.
No, you cannot take him.
No? Maybe this will convince you that I can.
You're going to kill him. No, I'm
Helena. Helena, you must not try to do anything. You cannot fight a revolver.
Now you're being smart, Justice. Let's go. Get into that car outside.
Goodbye, Helena. Don't worry.
Gregory. Oh, my Gregory.
Gregory Destos, a custom shoemaker, has become strangely involved with the young daughter of the wealthy and unscrupulous Henry Bollitt. And though Destos has denied any knowledge of the affair to his wife, he is forced at the point of the revolver to go off in the custody of Bollitt's so-called bodyguard, McIntyre, who has been assigned to take care of Destos. Now, after walking the streets aimlessly, thinking of something to do, Mrs. Destos returns home.
Gregory, what have you done? How did you get back here?
I have done nothing, Helena. Mr. McIntyre brought me here.
But why did he do that? I thought...
Listen to me. He, too, believes that I have been seeing Mr. Bollitt's daughter.
Oh.
And as a favor to me, Mr. McIntyre will give us time to leave the city. But we must never come back. I do not understand it. I do not think he likes Mr. Bollitt very much. But even so, why should he let me go?
What reason did he give?
He said it was because I made him the most perfect shoes he ever wore.
So, that is your reward. To go away and never come back.
He says that if Mr. Bollitt ever finds out that I am here, it will be the end for all of us.
But if Mr. McIntyre is such a good friend, Gregory, why was he the one to tell Mr. Bollitt that you were seeing the daughter?
He told Mr. Bollitt?
Yes. When Mr. Bollitt found the lucky charm in his daughter's room, it was Mr. McIntyre who told him it belonged to you.
Oh. And I don't understand.
Gregory, it is clear that... Who is that?
I will answer it.
Gregory.
There is no use to hide anymore, Helena. It has to be this way.
Are you Mr. Destos?
Yes.
Well, here's part of what you deserve.
Oh, why did you hit him?
That's only the beginning. Get up from the floor, Destos. Quick.
Fred, no, don't.
Why not? It's coming to him, isn't it?
But that's the wrong man. That isn't the one.
Oh, gosh. Oh, here, let me help you up.
Has everyone gone mad?
Oh, you're Mrs. Justice, aren't you?
Yes.
I'm Marion Bollitt.
Oh, you are Mr. Bollitt's daughter?
Yes. And I'm terribly sorry for what Mr. Potter just did. You see, he's a friend of mine, and he was just trying to help me.
You see, I thought you were the one who had sent Miss Bollitt that note.
No? What note?
The one in which you demanded $1,000.
I demanded $1,000?
Oh, no. You see, my father wants me to go out only with people he approves of. Now, I know he wouldn't approve of Fred, because Freddie isn't rich enough. So we haven't told Dad that we go out together.
But what has that got to do with my husband?
Well, the other day, I got a letter saying that if I didn't leave $1,000 at a certain place, the writer would tell my father all about me and Fred.
And you thought I was the person who wrote that letter?
Well, I went to the spot. It was 5 miles outside the city limits, behind the deserted Hamilton house. And I left $200 there, with a note saying that I'd leave more today. Then I drove off at a distance and sat in my car watching.
And you saw the man?
Yes. Although I couldn't identify him from that distance, I do know that he was much bigger than you. But when he left, I went back to see if he'd found the money.
And he had, all right.
And while I was looking, I found a Greek coin that he dropped. So I put it in my purse and later left it in my bedroom where Father found it. That was when I first learned it belonged to you.
Then why did you come here?
Well, I had to. I was going to give you the rest of the money to make sure you didn't talk to my father. But now I know you're not the man.
So,
It was someone else who took away your lucky coin, Gregory, to make it look like you.
Yes.
Well, I'd sure like to lay my hands on him.
I think I am beginning to see why Mr. McIntyre wants me to go away.
Are you talking about my father's assistant?
Yes. He wants my husband to leave the city. Your father thinks that Gregory is going out with you.
But how would he get an idea like that?
Mr. McIntyre advised him.
Then, do you think that...
Why, of course. It's as clear as the nose on your face.
But what can we do?
Wait, I have an idea. Where did you say you left the $200, Miss Bullitt?
Behind the old deserted Hamilton house. You know where that is, don't you?
Yes. Yes, it has been empty for many years now, has it not?
At least 5 years.
But how can that help us?
What time is it now?
It's 6 o'clock.
Uh-huh. It will be light for about 1 hour more.
You mean you want to go out there tonight?
Miss Bullitt, you said that you were bringing the money to me.
Yes, I thought that you were...
Would you let me bring the money to the Hamilton house and place it there for you?
You want us to go with you?
If you will allow me, I would rather go alone.
You mean you're going to wait there and see if you can catch him?
While it is light, I will wait. If it does not come then, I will go back to my shop, and I will be working there all night.
And what do you want us to do?
If you do not hear from me tonight, I would like you to take Miss Bullitt to the Hamilton house tomorrow and see if the money is gone. If it is, I would like you to come to my store and tell me the first thing in the morning.
All right. Here's the money, and then we'll go along.
Good night, and thank you.
Good night.
Good night. Oh, are you sure you're doing the right thing, Gregory?
Yes, Helena.
Do you want me to stay here?
No. No, I want you to come with me.
Oh, what can I do there?
You will see. Come, Helena. Come.
It is darkening quickly, Gregory.
Yes, I must work quickly. Here. Here is the place where Miss Bullitt must have put the money last time. Now, we put this in the same place. Yes, so. And now, you stay here, Helena.
Here? Are we going to wait for him to come?
No.
But where are you going, Gregory?
There is something I must find.
What is it?
It must be here.
But why must I stay here?
Because I do not want you to... Uh-huh. Yes, I found it. The man has left something he didn't know about. Come here, Helena.
What have you found?
It had to be here. Look, do you see what I mean?
Oh, yes, Gregory. I see what you mean.
As soon as I have it, we will go back to the shop. I will be working all night, Helena. All night.
It's 8:30 in the morning, Gregory.
Yes.
At this time every morning, the shop is already open.
Huh? Oh, yes. Yes, Helena, you better unlock the door.
Unlock it? But if Mr. McIntyre comes here and finds you, what then?
I think now we are ready for Mr. McIntyre, Helena.
I hope so.
Who is that?
Oh, it's Miss Bullitt and the young man.
Good. Let them in.
It's gone, Mrs. Destus. We looked all over. It was gone.
My husband has been working all night.
Well, this is a fine time to be fixing shoes, Destus.
I am just finishing.
But what are we going to do now? Now that we know the rest of the money is gone.
I expect that in a few minutes your father will be here.
How do you know that?
After what has already happened, he must be following you.
But you know that we don't want to be seen together. Why didn't you say this before?
Because Mr. Bullitt is interested in me, not you.
Well, Marion, I think it's best if we get out of here.
All right, Freddie. If you think we...
All right, Justice. Took me a long time to catch up with you, but I finally did.
I am not running away, Mr. McIntyre.
Marion, how can you come to this man's place at this hour of the morning?
Why shouldn't I? Mr. Destus is trying to help me track down a criminal who's been blackmailing me.
Blackmailing you?
Yes, and trying to incriminate Mr. Destus at the same time by leaving his possessions where I could find them.
You talking about that Greek coin? You mean he didn't give it to you?
No, he didn't. I found it.
Wait a minute. You mean somebody's been blackmailing you and trying to throw the blame on Destus?
Yes, Mr. Bullitt. And now I think I am able to find out who the man is.
How can a shoemaker suddenly become a detective?
I know very little besides making shoes, Mr. McIntyre. I make them to live. But now I have made one to save my life.
What are you talking about?
I went to the place where your daughter left the blackmail money. There I found something that the man did not know about. 2 footprints. One hers, one somebody else. I have made shoes in many different ways. But until today, never from a footprint.
You mean the shoe you've been working on all night is measured from that footprint?
Measured so carefully, Miss Bullitt, that it could not be worn by anybody else. You see, the print had a special high arch, and the pressure was greatest on the left side of the heel. Because of this, the toes on the right side were longer than average.
Well, suppose you're right. Who are you going to try the shoe on?
I would like to start with the men here. If it is all right, I would like to see if it fits Mr. McIntyre.
That's the screwiest thing I ever heard of.
Take your shoe off, McIntyre. Go ahead, Destus.
Thank you. Let me have the shoe, Elena.
Oh, here. And the shoehorn?
No, that will not be needed. Press, Mr. McIntyre.
I'm pressing. It just won't go, that's all.
Will you remove your shoe, Mr. Potter?
Do you mean that Fred... Oh, why, that's preposterous.
Let him have his fun, Marion. There.
Press, Mr. Potter.
I am pressing, but it doesn't go.
Of course, it's silly to suspect it.
One moment. Mr. Potter, will you uncurl your toes? So. And now, the shoe fits.
It is amazing how you fashioned that shoe from a simple footprint, Destus.
I think, Mr. Bullitt, that he will never find another shoe to fit him as well.
I'm afraid that it won't matter so much where he's going. I suppose McIntyre's turned him over to the police by now.
But I still don't see how Mr. Destus could find out all that information from a single shoe print. How did you know that Fred had the blackmail money in his pocket?
Oh, I did not know that. I knew only that the blackmail money had been taken away from the place where I left it. But from the beginning, Mr. Potter's face was familiar. Then I remembered the day my lucky coin disappeared, there was a man in my shop, and he was asking me for prices. Tell me, Miss Bullitt, did Mr. Potter ever have a mustache?
Why, yes. He just shaved it off a few days ago.
And sometimes he wears glasses?
That's right.
Of course, I could not ask these questions before.
Naturally. But that proves conclusively he was the man. You deserve a lot of credit for this, Destus, and I'll see that you get it, too. Well, come along, Marion. Perhaps you'll listen to me in the future.
Goodbye, Mr. and Mrs. Destus.
Goodbye.
Oh, Gregory, it is over. Like being free again. Is it not wonderful?
So wonderful, Elena. I think I will take a holiday. We will go home now and go to sleep. From shadows and stillness, mystery weaves a spell of strangest fascination, charging the mind with doubts and fears. For mystery is a strange companion, a living memory in the haunting hour.
Thank you for listening to HOJO Radio. We'll be back again very soon.